That's how you get better.
It reminds me of I saw an old, I think it was like Linus Tech Tips or something like that, made a system where they had like a gaming PC powered by an exercise bike.
Yeah, I
So
remember
like you
that
had to
video.
keep
I
like
remember that
you
video.
had to cycle to play it, and if you stopped, then it just like shuts off the internet. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
could do something like that.
I
But
know this is morbid, but if you did that with life support,
oh my god.
Oh,
So
could you
hang
imagine?
on, would you be powering your own life support, or would someone else's life be in your hands?
oh, okay, this is getting good. Okay, so it's your own life support.
Wait, so it's okay, so it's a life support that goes out when you can no longer pedal the fucking bike.
It's
That's
Yeah.
fucking awful, okay?
it's like a Mr. Beast video, but like R-rated. Last to leave exercise bike survives.
Oh my god, that's just
That could
awful.
literally be from like Saw or something, couldn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, 100%. Don't steal our idea. I want royalties.
Oh dear. Well, anyway, we should probably say hello to each other and a little bit of an introduction to anyone watching who doesn't know.
Oh yeah, what's up?
Hi, Eddie.
So I've interviewed all these gentlemen before, and I interview new people every week, as well as doing various things like the RuneScape researcher videos and other bits and bobs. Let's start again from the left, the evil side. Jim, what do you do?
I am the shark of lasers, and I create bad content for YouTube.
Brilliant. That's one sentence done. Ollie, or Galaxy Shark, as most people know you.
I am the Shark of Galaxies, and I used to create bad content for YouTube.
And now,
And now I guess I shit post on Twitter a lot, and also I am the editor for Spider Mash's Level Lock series. So there you go. I'm still technically there, but just not on my own channel.
This makes me think of like retired musicians who ghostwrite music for new musicians. I don't make my own videos anymore. Instead, I have to make this other kid's videos for him because he can't.
Well, I ran out of interesting lore content to do because some people decided not to release a quest for 18 months.
Yeah,
So,
that'll ruin your day.
yeah, when your entire channel's built on one small like niche thing, and you don't get any more of that niche thing, it's a bit hard.
I get it. Well, anyway, my
Yeah.
name is Kathaar, also known as Kathaar, also known as Mr. Kathaar, also known as Sandefendi, also known as the ultimate content creator. I have the pleasure of creating for you fellow people out, or you lovely people out there. I can't talk; it's late. The desert-only hardcore Iron Man series, and the name really says it all. I am a hardcore Iron Man locked into the desert, and I have to kill Telos. And that's pretty much all I've got. That's the only series I have so far. That's all I do. Sand content.
Sandaletics, as you're also known.
Please clap. Don't clap, please, God. Yes, Sandaletics, as I've heard.
Many times.
Yeah, there was a
Alright.
big thing in my Discord about that. I was like, man, I'm really disappointed you didn't call it series Sandaletics. I was like, that's a no.
It's a little
I
bit
suppose, yeah.
too close, really, isn't it?
The problem with that is it's like it's not it's going, yeah, I'm just Swampletics but in the desert, like Swampletics is the only
Only region
Snowflake
locked
Iron
on,
Man.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, just by the fact that he took it from well, he didn't take, he took inspiration from Ultimate Iron Man Verf. But
Yeah, because
And
he's the
I'm sure,
Karamja
yeah.
one, isn't he? Yeah.
yeah, and I think that was the first one. At least that's the one that Settled likes to reference. Just as his
From what I
so-
remember seeing, it was one of the earlier like big ones. There's probably someone out there that did other ones. I know
Oh yeah, sure.
V the Victim or something like that did a vampire one, Vampire Hardcore Iron Man, which I thought was really cool.
Hell,
where
I'm
it
not
was
even
like-
the first Desert Only Iron Man for RS3. There was
Mm.
another one called Iron Man Rail who did a
Yeah.
series and it just stopped. Like, he stopped like almost a year ago at this point.
I find that a lot. If I ever do searches, hey, has this idea been done? Like some things that you get in your head, they have been started, but they've never been completed.
Mm.
That's like, okay, good enough. Like, I'll do it. No one's finished it, or you know, if it's like just not being updated, then yeah, I'll go for it. Why not? And
Mm.
like, I mean, the desert is RS3's swamp. Like, in terms of like end game content and a variety of content in between, the desert's kind of the closest thing we have. Because you've got Telos, you've got God Wars Dungeon 2, you've got Calfight Queen, you've got Calfight King, you have a hub city there, you have a lot going
Got the
on.
Magister.
Yeah.
You got the
Yeah.
yeah, you got the Magister too. I keep forgetting he exists. You got you just got a lot. Like there's really nothing out there you can't train except for invention, because there's no invention workbench out there. Jagex, what? Come on.
How have you done like divination? Did you just have to like lamp up to the softening spot or something?
Oh, there's a Cathixian cache out there.
Oh, there is, isn't there?
Yeah.
So you just did that from level 1, and then until you could actually do the.
Yeah. Well, I don't have the
the
level
wisps.
to I don't have the level to actually do the wisps because they're
Oh, okay.
90. But yeah, it's entirely. That's entirely how you do it, because you can get into soften him just by starting Iclarin's Little Helper. You don't even have to finish it, and then you can just use that shortcut to get in and out of soften him, and there you go.
So
You're good to go.
what are you actually going to use divination for? Are you going to make signs of life, or?
I mean, you want signs of life, but also transmutation is good. Like divine implings can drop all the divine energies, and it's only partially weighted by your level. So I'm actually keeping my divination level low on purpose now, because there are some like tier 30 or 40 energies that I want, and that just increases my chance of getting them. But yeah, transmutation, like for example, you need a willow log out there, and so the only way to get that is if I'm going to cut a normal tree, transmute it to an oak log, then transmute that to a willow log. It's fun. Yeah, it's going to be a blast. It's going to be grindy, but that's how I'm getting my willow log. But yeah, transmutation is pretty important out there, and of course the signs and stuff like that, and divine locations, I guess, probably for like raw experience.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've always found quite cool about all these like special Iron Men. The amount of like research and planning that has to go into it, especially for like when I watch Jimmy's by release.
Yeah.
The amount of dedication that must go into making sure that nothing he does has ever been like released slightly later than what he's allowed to use. It's like
What's
I feel
kinda
like he must spend more time on the wiki than actually in game.
What's kind of funny though is like if you rewatch like the beginning of his series, it was never an intention. He was never part of the rules. He was just going to do the quests in order, and then people started going, "Hey, what are you doing? You couldn't do that in 2004." And he was like, "All right, you know what? Screw it. If you're all going to complain about it, then that'll just be part of the rules too, you know." So he just kind of turned that into the thing, and I've noticed that Level Lock does the same thing, and that's why if I ever do a series like that, I'm not doing that. I don't.
Yeah.
But then Level Locked is built around that. Like, as far as I can tell, it's like the whole point is that I'm playing 2001. I'm playing 2002.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's just makes sense.
I think that there's a couple of things we might have accidentally slipped up on, but through YouTube magic and clever editing, nobody has to know.
As far as I'm aware, and the reason nobody really does like a buy release in RS3 is because you cannot get into the Champions Guild if you do it that way because of released quests. So you have to. Yeah. And I would assume the exception is that you treat Diamond in the Rough as Prince Ali Rescue and do it when Prince Ali Rescue is released.
Yeah, we did basically all of the 2001 stuff, including the reworked quests to actually just get the quest points, but we still had to do Dragon Slayer in 2002 because is it Sheep Shearer and Witch's Potion or something, and now mini quests.
Yeah, they don't actually give quest points.
Right? Yeah.
So we just had to call it 2002 and just go with it.
Yeah. Well, it's what you gotta do.
And I think a similar problem came up with Legends Quest, where now it's like supposed to also have the level requirement to get into each year, as well as quests and stuff. Because the Legends Quest requirements are so high, I'm pretty sure Mash was on like the 2006 level requirement during 2004, because he had to get level 50s in like 10 or different skills.
That's nuts.
So yeah, that the level requirement basically doesn't matter anymore because you're just going to steam through it.
You're always going to be overpowered with the levels.
Yeah.
We're going to be ahead of it. Makes
But I
sense.
suppose that it's one of those things that I guess if you could restart it from today, we could do, okay, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, change it. But at the time, it was just like, yeah, this sounds fun, let's do it.
Because the problem is with something like that, it's not something you can go back and fix. Like if Kathaar suddenly found something that wasn't going to work, he could potentially work around it. But because you're working through it in that chronological order, you can't suddenly jump back in time easily.
The only thing that can really kind of ruin the challenge for Kathaar is accidentally leaving the desert
Or doing, yeah,
and just
finding,
just don't teleport.
leaving for something and then finding out there was a way I could have done it without leaving.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Or,
biggest,
or
wow,
or
that
dying,
sucks.
I guess. But that
But
would
yeah,
obviously be
dying too. That's I dreamed about that last night. It sucked.
Oh.
But it wasn't this account. It was a different account. It was like a different hardcore Iron Man. But it still pissed me off. It was something stupid. It's like a spider rolled up and hit me for a 50, and then hit me with a 14. It was like old school numbers for some reason. I was just like, it hit me with a 50, and then I tried to run away, and it just like went bang and hit me with a 14, and I died, and then I was a normal Iron Man. Okay, what just happened? And then I woke up shortly afterwards. I was like, well, that sucked.
You know how when you make an RS3 account, you can also play old school on it.
Mm-hmm.
If you make both of those into a hardcore Iron Man,
It's separate status.
okay, so if I die on RS3, I don't lose my old school one.
No, and plus they they are now going to change that so that it just demotes you.
I remember seeing that. Yeah, okay. Because I played old school when it first came out for like 2 days. When oh my god, where are the polygons? And then stopped.
Yeah, I was like, oh, the screen, it's so small. I can't see anything.
I started playing in like 2009 or something, so I don't have any nostalgia to that. And obviously, back when it came out, there wasn't any of this new content. It was literally just RuneScape, but less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, I started
Jim,
in
we've
2004,
oh, Jim, you've been very quiet, but we've made a nice maneuver over towards your new series. If you're even there, hello.
No, I'm here. I'm just playing sus in the chat. It's all good. I'm just like, hey guys.
So,
because I had nothing to contribute to that, so I was just enjoying the conversation. Eddie,
yes,
where the hell are we?
where are we?
Obviously, we're somewhere in like a tropical region, but where are we?
Oh well.
Oh, I thought that was like a more of a greater
um,
philosophical.
I can't say I thought about exactly where we are.
I don't know, dude. I see the dungeon. I see the dungeoneering hole back there. I think I know exactly where.
The beach. The beach.
We're at the beach with
the
2
beach.
sharks and some flame.
Yeah,
Listening
actually,
to
it's
fucking
very
time.
fitting, isn't it?
Does
Yeah,
this mean
it's got
Claudia's gonna pop out of the scene in a second and just like?
Eddie is
I
quiet.
unfortunately haven't managed to green screen Claudia somehow.
Oh,
that would
no.
be that would be something. That would be a great sub alert. Just have Claudia
Claudia.
appear.
You should have that challenge where people can contribute to the 24 hours. Have it so Claudia appears and they have to contribute to killing Claudia.
Yeah, get somebody to do like a little pixel art Claudia.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
What's a Claudia?
It's,
Oh.
it's a giant
D-
claw.
The beach is kind of like a mini desert, isn't it? It's sand. You
I
can-
mean,
you
if
can
I
go
could get there without touching not sand on the way, then sure. But no, I don't
Oh,
wanna do
true.
that. It'd be way too easy.
yeah.
It'd be
I haven't
so
done anything
goddamn
at the beach
easy.
event.
I
I've
was
been
there-
there a second, but nothing much. I've been
I went-
obviously busy on Max, grinding my butt away to make up for lost time.
I was playing
went.
around with my main account for a little bit. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's alright. I went there, spent all my oddments to buy all the old cosmetics I missed on previous years, and then just left because, like, that's all there is for me.
Well, for me, it's got me 99 construction, so I've been
Hey.
building a lot of the sandcastles. I got that finished last night, so it was
I've
very
been
nice.
hiding in the dungeoneering hole because I don't have 120, so why not? I got 99 and everything else you can do there.
See, that was always one that confused me because, like, in my head, ever since DG came out, it's always been like a pretty easy, fast skill, especially with sinkholes and stuff. And then when that skill off came out, and it was a question of herb lore or dungeoneering, it's like the most expensive skill in the game, or dungeoneering, which is probably actually one of my favourite skills, so I was probably a bit biased. But I'm like, I don't understand how it's not just, do Herblore, because it's like 1.5 bill for 120.
I think it was because it was a meme.
Mm.
Engineering hole kind of became a meme. Also,
Yeah.
like, you definitely have an unpopular opinion about dungeoneering. People hate dungeoneering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
Daemonheim is dead, and people will
83
train it
what?
any way other than the way it was intended to be trained. So, like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
kind of
that-
get it.
As
I enjoy
as
it,
said,
but
Elite Dungeons are out now. That like there are so many other ways to train dungeoneering. It's just
Max has got 92 dungeoneering without ever stepping into a normal
Yeah.
dungeon. It's all 83.
like
I've got-
do shifting tombs or something, because all these. My crew said shifting tombs was like 8 mil an hour or something. Shifting tombs.
Yeah, my crew's smoking something because I've done plenty of shifting tombs. It's not 8 mil an hour.
Actually, saying that, because I think part of that was built on getting Kopeshes, but Kopeshes are now like 30 mil instead of the 80 mil they were at the time. So,
Yeah, and they're they're not. Yeah,
because I think it was basically like you'd get a Kopesh every 10 hours or something, so it would work out to like 8 mil an hour from that. But no, it's not.
I'm dry. I must be dry on Kopesh.
Oh, no.
I need a Kopesh, Jagex. Come on. Steady 5 mil.
So Jim.
I was waiting for it because I was like, Eddie
Let's
made
get
the
back to
smoothest
what we were
transition.
going to go to, and then we got distracted by going to the beach, and then we've ended up back in talking about ED3 like we were last time.
I did that. I
So-
did that so on purpose.
Not making my job easy. Anyway,
Nope.
so limited Iron Men. We've gone through Kathaars, we've gone through level locked, and you started one recently. Have a little explain
Maybe.
to us all.
Well, I needed a distraction from Max because it's driving me insane, and now that I'm doing it full time, I needed something else that I could do a day through the week. And I was like, you know what? Let's go back to old school and do a region lock because I've never done one of those before, and I've never done a proper Ironman on old school as well. Tapered with it a little bit, but not much of it. And then it came up with the idea from Zert actually, and he was like, so what if we do a region lock, but the region moves every month? So you're locked in an area, you've got to play the crap out of it, and then the region moves. And I go, okay, so how do we know where to go? And he goes, ask the people. So that's where the idea of asking the patrons and Discord gets a vote, and everyone, and all together, they vote on the next region. So
That's
every
such
single
a good
month,
idea.
it's going to move around. And I've got to, like, if there's a quest, I've got to start the quest in one area, and I might not be able to finish the quest until I go to another area, if that makes sense. So it makes it even more interesting to do that as well. And that's the goal of the series, is just basically to see what adventures I can go on in each month. And the first month, I wasn't really thinking about it, and I gave the choice of Ardoin and Canterbury. Obviously, they chose Ardoin to make my life hell. Me being an idiot, I decided to just screenshot some random ass area in Ardoin, and that's my area. Coincidentally, just to the left of the area is the mining site that I needed to start training mining. So I can't train mining. I'm stuck in Ardoin for another month and a bit, but it's really fun. It's really, really fun to think outside the box and go, okay, what do I have available here in this area? I think my best in slot weapon for the area I'm in now is an iron mace. So that tells you something. Yeah. But I need to think about, obviously, because I can see where the next area is going to be, which I think the patrons chose Falador. Port Sarim is the next area. So it's like, what can I train in the area I'm in now that benefits me the most for the next area? And what can't I train in that next area? Because I've obviously got to get to it now. That's the new series.
Right. I need to disappear for about 15 minutes. My partner has no way to get to work. The person that was going to give her a lift has called in sick. So, do I trust you guys and leave the stream running? I'm tempted
we'll be
to.
fine.
And I okay. So,
Talks now.
right,
Now's your
how
cue.
do
Get
wait,
in.
how do I mod someone? Because I have no mods in
That's-
chat
that's
if I
fine.
disappear.
You can trust me, I
Merlin is
swear.
one of mine if you want.
Yeah, but
I know all.
but
I know all of the mod commands. I swear.
Oh god.
Um,
Yeah, but I don't actually know how I mod people. That's the thing.
I think it's /mod their name.
Let's see if it works.
Q0555, they are the captains now. We're the captain of the ship.
Twitch is quite nice in the sense that if you do slash and then just like the word you're trying to do,
Okay,
it
you are
generally does.
right. Don't get don't get the account TOS banned or anything. I'm gonna trust you with it, everybody.
We
So
got this.
have a fun 15 minutes. I will be back in a minute. Hopefully you don't change the top. Let's change the topic to
Free talk. Just change it to
Playtime.
when Eddie's away.
The sharks come.
So
out.
last time
Yeah.
I had it crash, and then this time we're disappearing. Okay, but let's do this anyway. Right, I will be back ASAP. Okay. Good luck, gentlemen.
Eddie has put his trust in these gentlemen. Good luck.
This is
All
where we
right,
find
great.
out he's not
Ju-
wearing pants when he stands up.
Judging by his reaction, I'm assuming he doesn't actually trust us very much because
Don't think so.
he
Look
yeah
at us.
he
Look
put
at
his
us.
he
You
put
gotta
his
cut that
headphones down. I think he heard you laugh and then
And
just
he went to
stopped.
double check. He just he went to check the.
My
I've
ears
got
are
I've got a
burning.
pretty piercing cackle. Yeah.
But yeah,
So
with
now's
the,
the time for me to talk about my display picture. I think
is it Ho-Oh?
it is.
Yeah.
It's Ho-Oh.
Looking at it earlier from
Basically, I was in Discord and I was talking to the guys, and I was like, I never seen Ho-Oh the original design. I always seen it as this weird like fish-looking thing to start off with, and they couldn't like see what I was seeing. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna Photoshop it the way that I see it. So I took off Ho-Ho's head, and I drew a beak, and then I moved the eye in the gap under the wing, and I was like, now can you see how I actually see this Pokemon from the design? Not when it's in game, but basically on the cartridge. That's how I always seen it.
Hang on, so we're looking for a fish in this picture, are we?
Like if you look at the original Ho-Oh design,
hang on.
it's got like a really
On
long neck, like
Pokemon
a turkey.
Gold or whatever.
Yep, that's it. And for whatever reason, the way that the wing behind the gap of the thing on its head, I don't know what that's called, but the way the wing was behind it looked like an eye to me. And then I never saw the actual Ho-Oh's beak and head thing. I just sort of like thought that was part of the wing in the background, and I seen that part as the eye, and I was like, it's a weird flying fish thing.
So what did you think the actual beak was?
The wing. I thought it was part of the wing because it's like the same color.
I
can
can
see
see
the
it. I can
gaps.
see this weird. It's got like a yeah. That's
I can see the gap you're talking about that you thought was like an eye, but I can't make the jump to fish yet.
It's
I'm
kind of fish-like, but it still
Yeah,
just looks like a different kind
fish-like
of bird to
thing.
me.
Yeah.
Well, this
And
is
that's what
weird.
drew me to this
Yeah.
conclusion. I'm like, I've got to make you guys see what I see. And then I just got carried away and decided to keep on rubbing things out, changing colors, shading here and there, and made. a new
Although
thing.
I think we might be biased because obviously I'm in my head. I've always just looked at it and gone, yeah, it's a big bird.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for me to unsee that first.
Yeah, I
And then
just,
you just
it's
look
a
at my
turkey
display
neck,
picture.
Yeah.
turkey neck phoenix. It's like long boy. That's all I see.
The
Yeah.
story of Ho-Oh is pretty cool though. Like the thing with Raikou, Suicune, and Entei, how they were Espeon, Vaporeon, not Espeon, Vaporeon, Flareon, Jolteon died in a fire. Their rainbow wing came down, brought them back to life, made them legendary dogs. That's really cool.
That's pretty
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Pokemon has lore, but people it's so annoying to find lore in that game.
Ma-
Yeah, you
maybe
gotta talk
maybe
to a lot
this
of
is my
random
my return to YouTube. I'll bin off RuneScape lore because there's nothing new coming out, and I'll become a Pokemon lore channel.
There is so much when you really dive into it. There's
I'll-
some
I'll change
shady
the-
stuff that went in.
I'll change the quest symbol in my logo to a Pokeball or something.
There you go. That's
We'll
it.
just
You could
roll with
just
it.
do lore. Period.
Just
Yeah,
just
lore
video
and
game.
everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of games that have some really interesting lore in them that aren't
Mm.
brought straight to the forefront, kind of like RuneScape. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you have to want to know the story to know the story.
I suppose
What
that's
level-
always kind of how like
Sorry.
Overwatch lore is. Obviously, it's not as deep as other games, but the Overwatch lore, you kind of have to actively go out your way to read all the comics and listen to all the interactions because there's no story to it or anything, no like campaign, but
Mhm.
loads of the different characters have their interactions and reasons why they don't like each other and all that. So it's
I think
It is
with RuneScape, there is a slight issue where you have to level up to complete the rest of the story, and by that point, you've kind of forgotten.
and
Where you up to?
the other thing as well is all of the quest lines kind of overlap and link. I was talking to I was gonna say Dylan the Goon, but it's what Dill Pixel now. And he wanted to do something to do with a quest series where he plays just like a quest series at a time. So he will just do like the Night series, then the Sea Slug series. But it's like already the Sea Slug series is like a sub part of the Night series. And it's
Yeah.
I
like
would love to see that
there is-
as like a map where you
Yeah.
start with one quest and then you watch it just branch off and split into the rest of the quest, and it's like one of those quizzes you used to get as a kid in the magazine, like, do you like the
just, like,
color blue?
endgame at
And
the
then
top.
you are General Grievous. Like,
Yeah.
one of those things you follow through. It's a
Just
personality quiz.
end game at the top of the family tree, and then
Yeah.
everything splitting off from it, and then Desperate Times and Desperate Measures are the weird, awkward, like in-laws that don't quite fit into their. Oh shit, he's back. Stop.
Damn, he's back.
Oh, it's fine. I was listening
talking.
anyway. So you talked
Oh.
about Mr. Laser Shark's logo, right?
Yes.
And then I kind of missed the last bit.
Um,
Right. So I ended up
Yeah.
not actually having to give her a lift. Someone
Oh, wow.
else just turned up as we were getting in the car. So
I don't think that was a very
it was-
short 15
yeah.
minutes.
It's a big power move you got there. Starts a live stream and just walks off to leave us.
Well, you know.
Delegating.
All right, guys, do not get me banned. Keep it entertaining.
See, it'd be interesting if any.
Get me
it'd
some
be
subs,
interesting
let's
if any
go.
like. It'd be interesting if any bits or subs or stuff came in, because I'm pretty sure if Eddie's not here, we are the streamer. And, they're clearly donating to us.
I'll just split
not
it
Eddie.
3 ways afterwards, shall I?
Yeah.
All right, topic change.
Topic change. Okay, well, right.
Topic change. I
Right,
got
right,
this.
right.
Hold on.
Sorry,
I need to
'cause
know.
I like interrupted in the middle of the you
Ah,
chatting about your Iron Man.
Yeah, I wasn't anything interesting.
That-
No one cares.
Nah, no one
Okay.
cares.
We got the attention span of gnats. So, Jagex switching to a monthly system. Thoughts?
Oh, as in the monthly game content update, weekly patch weeks and stuff.
Yeah, where they're moving away from trying to guarantee content coming out weekly and just saying we want to drop something every month.
I do like it. I like it.
Same here.
Because I think it's almost, a few years ago Menethos came out, they were talking about the expansions.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the concept of it, but I think they went too far. Like, to say, okay, we're just going to have small little cute, like, quality of life things throughout, and then a couple of big ones. I liked it, but I think going 2 big updates a year is, like, no. But, like, one
it's
kind
like-
of medium-sized update every month, I quite like. And especially if they can guarantee it, I'll take it.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Is
it's-
if it actually
yeah.
happens, like if
If
they
it's-
say that and then it doesn't ever show up, that's when there's an issue.
But I think if they can do that during COVID, then as soon as they're all back in the office, 100% it's going to keep going.
Yeah, it depends on how well it succeeds. Because I know they were talking about it was just going to be a thing for now.
Yeah.
Like for the duration of quarantine and having to work from home, they were going to definitely do it. When they got back to the office, they were gonna get together and say, okay, is this working? Is it not working? Should we go back to what we were doing before? Can we go back to what we were doing before? Or,
Mhm.
Whatever. But honestly, I'm fine with the monthly system. Like most non-MMOs update like monthly. Usually there's something coming out every month. But most MMOs, it's like, okay, that happened.
I am the captain.
You are the captain.
Nice.
But mom said it's my turn to be the captain. Anyway, whatever.
I love how it actually almost just fits the shark. It's like the shark is wearing. So
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, there you go. It's a shark wearing a hat. But it's kind of nice to see them going for this. I kind of hope they just stick with it, because it also means that we're getting quality of life work. Because I mean, Reddit is kind of a echo chamber of vitriol and hatred. And just, this game is garbage. Everything Jagex does is wrong. And while they're not wrong, they also really exaggerate. And getting like the ninja strikes coming through, making
the ninjas are
moderate
OP.
to large size changes to content, like what they did for Shattered Worlds was huge. And just general fixes. There's a lot of stuff that has just come through, and it's like, this has been broken for so long, people have forgotten it's broken, and then the ninjas just roll in and say, hey, we fixed this now. It's like, awesome, bitch it, do it again. Like, I can't wait to see what you got next week, kind of thing. And so if, it's like, if they've got 3 weeks of just, we are fixing the game and bringing it up to speed, and then the 4th week is we're going to bring out a decent sized chunk of new content, or as they've also said before, turning old content into new content. Then I'm here for it. I don't care if I don't have an update every week, because I've got something, you know.
I actually hadn't thought of it that way, but I do really like that idea as well. The fact that saying it's only going to be one big update a month means, instead of getting to a week and go, so there was going to be content, but there isn't. Here's 5 little patches. It's just, this isn't content week. Here's quality of life week. The game is better now.
Patch week, content week.
The only concern I do have about it is what is considered a big content release. Because, like, if this month's content release is Desperate Measures, cool, brilliant, we've got a quest. It's going to be like an hour and a half of content. And that's your monthly release.
You know what? That's fine. I got no problem with that. Because as far as it is, we don't want to give Jagex even more excuses not to create quests, because they already have gotten into this mentality of fuck quests because no one wants to play them. They take forever to make and no one cares.
Well, that's the thing.
Like
because
that mentality. I want them to keep doing these quests. I don't care if they think it's not worth it.
100% I'm with you on that.
What it is.
But like at RuneFest, my biggest takeaway from the talk was when they were like, so guys, we're going to have this team just doing quests. So their whole focus is making quests. Where are they? Because it's been 6 months. Or it's been 8 months.
The invisible quest team.
The quests have some of them have been shelved. Some of them are apparently being worked on, but we don't.
The Azanad request apparently got turned in. The Azanad request got turned into the Zaros archaeology stuff. The City of Sentistan quest was renamed, and that's all we know.
Still in production in some form. That's what it's.
And I suppose this is where we do get this problem that a lot of people have been talking about, is just transparency. Because like, if it turned out this quest team have actually been in the background making like 10 different quests and they just haven't come out yet, I'd be like, oh, that's brilliant.
Great,
but
cool. I'll stop
without being told all I know is that they just haven't released anything.
Yeah,
exactly. And that is an issue.
As the guy here with 66 quest points, let me give you some insight. Right, so for someone who doesn't quest and actively hates questing, what I'm looking for is, what does the quest give me? I don't care about lore, it's more about the item to me personally.
That's what I was going to get around to.
The other thing from the business side of things, Jagex at the top is going, okay, how's this quest going to make us money? Is it going to make people buy bonds? Is it going to invest in time? Are they going to spend more time grinding skills to obviously do the quest? That's the thing that they're going to be thinking about, not so much the content themselves. It's like, what are we going to get out of this from their point of view? So it's definitely about the item would impact a lot of players doing the quest, and then from Jagex's point of view, it's how do we monetize the quest to make it more beneficial for us.
It is a tough one, because obviously, like, as much as you think, oh, Jagex should be doing this and doing what we want, they are a business and they do have investors, and that's kind of as much as they don't want to say it, that is the priority of a business. And I feel like that is where there's kind of a conflict of interest, that the players are like, just focus on what we vocal minorities want, and then Jagex is like, yes, but we need money, which is fair enough, because
Because without money,
I mean,
then
there's
no...
an argument. Yeah, but like you were saying, to wrap back a little bit, you were talking about it's like, oh, it's like an hour and a half of content. Yeah, that's if the quest literally doesn't give you any rewards. And it's pretty rare nowadays for quests to come out and not give you something that is utilized pretty much for the rest of the game. Like,
Yeah, well, they said there's going to be something that makes archaeology better. Actually, yeah, I've got a question for you guys. Did you watch the original live stream where Mod Raven hinted at what the rewards were?
Yes, and I know
Have you
what you're
seen-
about to say. Yeah.
But on Twitter, since they
Yes.
have revealed every single reward.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure I know what you're about to reference.
Why?
Well, did you not? Because I'm pretty sure you asked this somewhere.
Yeah,
And
but,
you
like-
saw the answer, right?
yes, it was
Yeah.
just a miscommunication, and it's like I don't see how. But they've never done that for a quest before. It's never been, hey, look, here's a quest coming out. These are all the rewards you get. So it's like, so we actually know all of the rewards for Desperate Measures.
oh, I haven't been paying attention. What are
Do
they?
you want to know, or do you want to save the
sure.
surprise? I suppose
We
it,
can find out tomorrow. It's fine.
There's a
you can
quest
Yeah.
coming out?
Ah.
but it was one of them things that, like, I was watching the live stream and it was, oh, there's going to be a cosmetic, a thing that helps with archaeology, and I'm there theorizing, thinking, oh, I wonder what it's going to be. Is it going to do this? Is it going to do that? Where everyone in the clan's talking, and then the next day they go on Twitter and go, oh yeah, by the way, here's a picture of the cosmetic. This is what the archaeology thing does.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Is that then goes back into what you were saying about if the rewards aren't good, you don't want to do it. That if I then saw that and thought, oh, I don't want that, then why would I do the quest? But if they just kept it as a secret, I'd actually want to do it just to find out what the rewards are.
Right.
But yeah, that's my little gripe with that. But
Interesting. So, okay. Well, and they and so, excuse me. You said that they had like said that there was like a miscommunication about.
yeah,
like,
I asked Mod
supposed to
Porky
be
about
with-
it, and he basically said there must have been some miscommunication between Mod Raven and I think it was like the marketing team or something. So obviously the marketing team think, oh yeah, let's drum up all this excitement, whereas Raven's thinking, let's not spoil it all.
Yeah.
Because they haven't.
Like you got when new quests came out way back in the day, you would get the requirements for them, and then you would go to click like what the rewards were, and you'd open it, and it would say something about like, sorry, the spoiler ogres have stolen the list of rewards. You will find out what they are in a week, or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, you make some joke out of it. But they would not tell you what the rewards were until the quest had been out for at least a few days.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is totally out of character, and I'm assuming it was just like somebody screwed up, because it does sound like what they were trying to do was build hype, because they've been trying to build hype. You've seen the trailers for the quest.
Yeah.
Like, they have been doing a lot. Say like, guys, we're doing that thing that our game is famous for. Come play, you
Mhm.
know. And honest to God, it better fucking work out, because if it doesn't, then we're just never gonna see
One of
quality amount of quests again.
the
That's
thing that
issue,
concerns
though,
me.
with RuneScape. Sorry.
Yeah. It's alright. The thing that concerns me is like I know I'm going to be underwhelmed by this quest, because it's not going to be the end of the story. They're not going to do this entire Kerapak saga in 2 quests.
Oh, I would be
So-
underwhelmed if they
so, like,
did.
I've waited, but yeah, so it's one of those things both ways. But like I've waited 18 months for like episode 2 of maybe 3. It's like a bit of a tangent. Have any of you watched Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them?
No.
I saw the first
no.
movie.
Okay, so the second one, I went in thinking there were 2.
Right, okay.
So I was expecting this big grand finale, this epic fight with Grindelwald and all that, and then, like, nothing happens in the entire film. It's just a setup for the third film.
That's the
See-
hero's journey in film.
Yeah.
That's what the second film's
also-
meant to be. Look at
But that's
Lord of
where
the
if
Rings,
you-
look
if you-
at-
But
don't-
also, like, I mean, even without having any understanding of what the hero's journey is, look at the previous quest lines for RuneScape and tell me that it would make any sense that the second quest would be the finish.
Exactly.
I'm going all the way back to Lucian taking care of Lucian took several quests.
Mhm.
Taking care of Sliske took several quests.
But see,
Taking care of the Dragonkin the first time took
the
several
difference
quests.
there is like with Sliske, they did it quickly.
Yes.
It was
but
a year from because what we got: Nomad's Elegy, Kindred Spirits, Sliske's Endgame, and I think something else, all in 1 year. And it was like this year is Sliske year, and then it's done.
Yep.
And if they had
But
have
I
gone,
mean,
okay,
that's-
we'll take a year off, and then the year after that is going to be Kerapak year. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that only makes sense to those of us who are there on release. You got somebody who starts playing the game tomorrow. He's not going to give a damn when Endgame came out versus when Ritual of the Majorat came out.
sure,
Like, it's all the story is there, and it takes this long to complete. And then he finds out the Kerapak is the new big bad, and Kerapak's story is not resolved yet, so he's got something to
Yeah.
look forward to.
I suppose
You're
this is
talking
where
about me here. Like,
me being a very I am part of a vocal minority as much as I hate to admit it, and yeah, that's just me. It's just me being boring and old.
Well,
no,
so
you're
here's
you're
thing,
the
like,
youngest here, mate. Shush.
Yeah,
you
in
won't
terms
find
of how long I've been playing, I'm old.
you won't find a bigger fan of RuneScape's lore than me, outside of maybe yourself, only because you've dedicated an entire channel to it, and I haven't. And so like, I mean, I'm still waiting on our Cassandra, but you
Yeah.
know, at this point, the gnomes need to be reworked again because they look hideous now. They kind of did when they were first graphically updated, but it's just kind of one of those things, and so it really does suck to see Jagex not only do less and less quests, but show absolutely no incentive. And this is a bit of a segue, but they did the same thing with PvP. Like, they want, like, when EOC first came out, there was a big focus on how EOC works in PvP. There was a bigger focus on how it worked in PvP than it did in PvM. There was a lot of the original balance changes were working around how it worked in PvP, and they kept pushing it because, I mean, RS2 PvP was huge. They kept pushing changes for it. They wanted to keep the fact that PvP mattered in the game. And look at it nowadays. You mention PvP, and people will think you're a moron. Like, they kept trying to make PvP work, and people kept rejecting it or boosting it or just not caring or whatever. And then Jagex said, you know what? Fuck it. Whatever. We're just not going to bother anymore.
I feel like, as you said,
I'm worried about them doing the same thing with quests.
Yeah.
Screw it. Nobody cares about them anymore, so we'll just do them on rare occasion.
As you mentioned with the people like boosting the PvP content and stuff, I feel like the only real solution to PvP is to just make the PvP fun. Because like, as soon as you start releasing an actual incentive to do it, people will abuse it. But I feel like on old school, you see like Torvesta and people like that, they just go and PK in like PvP wars on the Grand Exchange.
It's fun and
Like,
rewarding.
yeah,
And,
their PvP.
RS3's combat is missing something there. And
Tell you what, actually, on the topic of
PvP,
PvP, and RS3, I saw a tweet the other day, and it got me thinking that I initially saw it and thought, no, it's just someone who doesn't like the wilderness. But it did get me thinking. It was someone who'd got PK'd for the Hex Hunter bow and lost like 60k. And it did make me think about how, like, I've never understood PKing for the Hex Hunter bow, because in my head, if someone's using the Hex Hunter bow, it's because they don't want to risk anything.
Oh, you mean
Not Hex Hunter bow, Hellfire bow, Hellfire bow.
But maybe they're PKing them to use it themselves.
But just hop worlds.
Nah, because it's easier. They
It's
found
like
it now.
creating-
Like, it's a tracker, isn't it? So.
And
yeah.
it's like it almost just becomes an annoyance. Like the 60k doesn't matter to me. It's just annoying that now I have to re-gear and run back up.
But at the same time, there's a level of like, well, dude, that's what the bow is for. Like, I mean, you pick it up and you're a literal target. If you're gonna die, if you're gonna complain about dying with the weapon that is meant to kill you, don't use it.
But then
Like-
basically what this guy suggested, I can't even find the tweet. It was almost like a risk kind of star system, where instead of saying who you can attack based on the depth in the wilderness, it would be based on how much you risk. So like, if you were risking under 100k, you could be like only certain people can attack you or things like that. Whereas the more you risked, the more people could then attack you and stuff, which I thought was an
oddly
interesting
enough,
idea.
it's kind of how it works in old school. At least that's the system people put together. And, you know,
Mhm.
you want to fight, bro? I'm risking 30 mil. You're wearing rune. No, go away.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I'm not gonna fight you unless you risk at least X amount.
Mhm.
And then they go grab cash, and it's like, okay, you're risking. We'll,
Yeah.
we'll fight.
Because
But-
it's like when I was doing Slayer Codex and I was going for the Lava Strike Worm Soul, I started off doing it with a normal like a Shabti and all that with the Hellfire Bow, and I'd get PK'd like every bloody 10 minutes. And then I thought, you know what, sod this. I'm going to go back with actual weapons, actual gear, and all this. I was probably risking like a few mil, and nobody touched me because I didn't have the Hellfire Bow.
Right.
And it's like, if you were going to PK me at any point, like, there's no way I'm surviving you PKing me. I'm horrendous at that sort of stuff. Like, you could just start autoing me and I'd die. And it's like, if you were ever going to attack me, it should have been when I wasn't carrying the Hellfire Bow.
Yeah.
But I guess people are scared if they see you in actual gear that you're ready to fight
No,
back, and that it's
it's
not going to be an easy
mind game.
target. Yeah.
It's mind games, yeah, I guess.
But
yeah, I mean, there's kind of there's a general consensus that most PKers in RS3 are absolute trash at the game, and if you even know how to half-ass use your defensive abilities, you can get away from them.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are going to be those rare few out there that it doesn't matter what you do or what you're wearing, you're going down.
Yeah. I mean, I know there was someone who used to be in my clan who would literally, like, they'd bring tribrid T92s into the wilderness to
Yeah,
PK
I've
with.
seen them walking around in like full T92s with switches and everything. They're not gonna die. That's why they're risking hundreds of mil, because they're
Yeah.
not gonna die. They don't care.
It's almost like it plays into itself that they're good enough to not die, so they can risk more. But by risking more, they have better gear, so they're definitely not going to die.
Yeah,
Mm.
and the only thing that the only real issue with wilderness is that there's not enough people that are confident to do that, and
Mhm.
it's because dying is very expensive in RS3 compared to old school. It is
Yeah.
prohibitively expensive to die in the wilderness, and that's why so many people have been talking about why not just utilize our current death system and you just drop double reclaim cost. If you
Mhm.
die in the wilderness, you pay double. Half of it goes to death, half of it goes to the guy who just killed you. So if you're carrying more crap, you're going to drop more cash, you're a bigger target. And it's honestly, I'm not against it. You
I
know,
do quite like the idea, yeah.
The idea of dropping all but your 3 items is pretty outdated. You can
'Cause,
just
yeah.
get rid of the sculling system and use the double death cost system and call it a day on the wilderness.
That
And
would be
then,
good as well
you know-
for. Do you reckon that would work for bots?
I mean,
That would help with cursed energy bots, surely, because then when you PK a cursed energy bot, that's fine. It just runs back up and starts again.
It's true.
But
it would be
if
stuck
you
in
change
death.
cursed energy
Yeah.
a cursed energy bot would either get stuck in death, or they would have to put millions and millions of coins onto the account,
Yeah.
and then it would get to the point where you're killing it quick enough that it's losing
Well,
money twice as fast as it's gaining it.
And what would be interesting about that is they would have to determine, because there could be some exceptions. Like, for example, so you go into the wilderness, you die, and you know, instead of paying 500k death cost, you pay 1 mil death cost, it's 500k. But if you're carrying cursed energy, it just drops the cursed energy.
Yeah.
Period. You don't save any of it. It doesn't go against your reclaim cost. It's like it never went with you. I would say for wilderness resources like that, they're an exception to the death rule. So searing ashes, if you die with a full inventory of searing ashes, you dropped your searing ashes. Stuff like that. Because that keeps that value.
Or
Yeah.
The other problem is that you're running into the wilderness, you're killing all these, you're still getting your searing ashes, you're still getting your cursed energies, you're paying for them, but you're still getting them. And
What
that could be a problem economically. Sorry, go ahead, Ed.
What about if you had it so when you enter the wilderness, anything that changes, like anything that you gain while you're in the wilderness is dropped, but otherwise it's the death cost?
That could possibly work.
The
I'd see that
issue-
being a little bit more complicated than only just flagging certain resources.
I suppose that could then probably be abused. That like because anything you went in with basically has double the risk of anything you get inside.
Well, no,
So-
because you drop it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That if you die, you have to pay. I suppose if the reclaim cost
Yeah.
isn't as much as that's a good point. Actually.
Exactly. So say you went
Yeah.
in with a Nox bow, you have to pay like what $1.5 for the death cost, rather than dropping it and losing it completely. It's like,
Yeah.
Not to mention that means you can keep your perked equipment and all that stuff. See, I like with a system like that, I'd actually be inclined to go out into the wilderness with some decent gear.
I think the
and
worst.
try PKing a couple times. I mean, sure, if I die a few times, at least I'm gonna lose some cash.
Mhm.
And okay, well now I should probably set aside some time to PVM, make that money back. But I got to comfortably try to PvP and get good at it, and that's how you get more people in the wilderness. You give them the position where it's like I can go out and try it and not be punished severely for dying immediately.
Yeah. I think the worst. It kind of plays into what you were saying. The worst part to me about getting PK'd isn't the money risk. It's like the time risk. That
Yeah,
if I
that
went
won't
in with
necessarily change.
like if
Yeah.
if you go in with something that's like untradeable, like if you go in with overloads and you die and you drop them, it's just effort to make more. Like I'd rather go, here's 20k, just let me keep my overload.
Yeah.
And then because the PK doesn't get the overload, I don't think.
No,
So it just gets deleted. It just disappears into the abyss.
They might get like a high alk equivalent of gold or something like that. I know some items they just drop gold or something when you die in the wilderness, but all that I would just scrap all of it.
Yeah. The only problem I do see with that is how would you? Because what if I just went into the wilderness with no money? You would have to have like a toll on the wildy wall where it forces you to have enough money to.
It would have to check. If you couldn't afford your death cost, it probably wouldn't let you in the wilderness. Like there's currently
What about
there's currently
an
a check.
insurance broker? Where if you want to go into the wilderness, you can pay this insurance broker half of your death fee, and if you die, that goes to the person who PK'd you. So you're not paying your full death fee to go out there. You're paying half. You get to keep your items if you die, and then that fee that you've paid to the insurance person goes to the PKer.
Isn't this basically
your items,
isn't
you
that
pay
kind of
half
like
the death.
what happened with Crucible that then got abused to shit and people made like billions in an hour? I feel like that's a similar. I feel like that's a dangerously similar system to when the Crucible released, and you have to like pay money to go in to PK based on what gear you're doing, and then you get some money back. But it was like horrendously broken on day one, where you could go in without paying any money and then get the money back on the way out. And people were just farming like billions and billions and billions of coins in like half an hour. I'm just having flashbacks to that. So
Yeah.
I'm
I
sure
mean,
it
either
would
way,
work.
you go out
Frankly,
there
in
and you
terms of-
die. It's just that it's half the cost of you dying.
Yeah.
which encourages more people to go out there because it's
Exactly,
less than dying
and encourages
somewhere
more
else.
PvP. So yeah,
I mean, I don't know if I want
Like
to
the
be-
obviously the reward for the people
in the wilderness
killing
and all.
is less, but it's more incentive to have more people out there. So
exactly.
there's
The
more
thing is that
chance
there's a
of getting
mix
money.
of like you want a balance of you want people incentivized to go out there because it's not that expensive to go out there,
Mhm.
but you also want people incentivized to go out there because it's profitable there. So it's
Which
like
it would be if
I
there's
kill-
more
if I
people,
kill this
right?
guy, if I
Yeah.
kill this guy and he doesn't drop anything, then why am I wasting my time? It took time and resources to kill this person, and I didn't get anything out of it, so I'm not going to kill people. Well, you
And
just
that's
lost
the
a
risk
PK.
you take, same as someone going out there. You're
I
risking
feel
your
like-
time.
There should be a level of guarantee. Like,
I feel like
it kind of works that way in old school too. You see people in certain gear, and you know what you're gonna get off of them.
Yeah.
If you drop them.
I suppose
Obviously, we can't do what old school does because we are currently doing what old school does, and it does not work because old school doesn't have to worry about perks.
I think
Does
there
anyone
is a
play
difference,
World of
you know?
Warcraft?
I don't.
No.
I did like 10 years ago.
Does anyone in chat play World of Warcraft? Because I don't either, but I'm just like thinking their combat system is obviously similar with the abilities and such, and if they've got a thriving PvP community, that's sort of the player base that RS3 needs to target because it's the
In
same sort of
terms of,
getup.
I do know somebody who played a lot of World of Warcraft, and in terms of PvP outside of arenas, it's dead. The only people who PvP, like in terms of like going to, Horde going to Alliance territory and vice versa, is to Grief. That's it. There's no real gain in it, and people just do it to troll. In the
That's almost
arena,
what RS3 PKs like. It's just an annoyance to the person.
yeah, in arena PvP, as far as I understand, it's because there are unique cosmetics and stuff locked to a currency that you could only get through fighting in that arena, and then of course the prestige of high scores, the high score battles. So like, you know, trying to push up higher in the high scores, trying to get a higher elo rating, stuff like that. It's a competitive scene, which RS3 tried to do with the Crucible and Deathmatch, and people decided, well, I mean, I like being competitive, but I don't like being that competitive. I don't I'm just gonna streak Telos instead.
What do you guys think about? Because you mentioned about comparing RS3 Wilderness to Old School. I think one of the big differences is Old School has a lot more content in the Wilderness. Do you think releasing more stuff into the Wilderness might help? Because obviously they've got like 4 bosses in the Wilderness.
In the current
Right,
state,
so
no,
when-
everyone off.
Right. When was the last thing added to the wilderness? When was the last bit of content actually added?
The
I feel
Wilderness
like
Revival a couple years back, that's when they added the Lava Strike Worms, that's when they added the Demonic Skull, they added the Charming Moths, they added the Cursed Energies. Everything
Yeah.
that we go into the wilderness for today was added with that last update a few years back.
Yeah.
And people hate it. Like, the general consensus was, if I remember correctly, it was like, why are you trying to bribe me to go into the wilderness? Like, the whole thing was that, oh, you're trying to push skillers into going out and getting PK'd.
See, I'd never.
So this was actually
saw it as that.
2016. So 4
I didn't
years
see it that
ago.
way either, but that's how people saw it. They're like, well,
yeah,
I'm just gonna go out as a skiller and I'm just gonna get destroyed by PKs.
Because it's like
That's no
it's
fun.
risk and reward.
That's what I was about to say.
They're like the best in-game skilling methods.
The
you want
problem
that
is that you can't risk in RS3. You
Mm.
cannot, like, if you go, the best you can rag, the best you can do is rag. If you go in anything above rags, you're going to lose hundreds of mil and hundreds of hours worth of time.
Mhm.
And that's the big issue. Because, I mean, think about gear. I mean, the problem is none of us here are, like, end game old school players.
Yeah.
So it's a little, like, I mean, the best knowledge I have in terms of understanding is, like, watching Torvesta or Sea Engineer and stuff like that, and what happens when they die. But what they lose in terms of progress is absolutely fucking nothing compared to what you would lose here.
Mhm.
Wearing best in slot PvP gear in RS3 would be full acto, perked with a set of T92s and probably some switches. And if you were to
Yeah.
lose that, the acto wouldn't probably be that bad, but everything else would be incredibly expensive. Not to mention how much
The cost of
money
resetting,
you put in.
yeah.
Yeah, just to get the damn perks, the amount of money you would put in just to get those. That's
Yeah.
what does it.
So even if
And
there was
while
some...
in-
Okay, so I've just had a look. So if you die in the wilderness with an Acto body, it'll drop 12 mil instead of the item.
And you don't get it back,
I
right?
don't think so, no.
And it's an
PK
untradeable
gets it.
item, correct?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
As far in old school, the difference is if you die in, for example, full void, you get your fucking void back, but it's broken, and then you pay the same amount of gold that the PKer receives to repair it. But you did not lose the void, so you did not lose those hours of pest control that it took you to get your void. And that's something old school does differently. When it comes to untradables, they still reward the PKer by dropping them gold, but they don't completely screw you out of your item. You just have to repair it. And that would be a good idea to have here too. But I mean, in terms of just, it's not necessary with just the reclaim system.
Maybe it's
and just utilizing the reclaim system, you get the same results. You're paying the PKer, but you're keeping your items, and so you're keeping your progress. The only thing you've lost is wealth.
But again, that'll be quite a small portion of wealth, and if you're talking about, you need higher rewards for people, then
It would be
maybe... But
Instant, though. I think that's what kind of helps. Like,
well,
and it depends on how much shit you bring out there. You could drop a solid amount of cash for that PKer.
because I was gonna say maybe in terms of like augmented items, if you die with them, you lose like a chunk of divine charge or something. Like I don't know how you'd scale that or how much it would be. And obviously, divine charges are still pretty stupidly expensive right now. But
Yeah,
using
but I
that
don't-
as a way of hurting
I
you
mean-
doesn't necessarily mean you immediately need to go and do something, because you'll still probably have some divine charges left.
I mean,
But it
okay,
does
but then
hurt you.
that's also on top of you having to pay your reclaim costs, because you're gonna have to do that anyway. If you die, no matter what, you're gonna have to reclaim your items. That's not gonna change. But so now you're reclaiming your items, and you're losing a chunk of your divine energy. And what did the PKer get out of that?
If I'm honest, out of the ideas we've had, I probably like Jim's like insurance one, in that that's a kind of maybe not half of your death cost, maybe all your death cost or something. But I feel like that's a good
Problem is one of the
way
functions
around
of the death cost is that it pulls gold out of the economy. So you still want to pull gold out of the game,
which
but
it would
also
be.
you want to reward the person who managed to kill you. So I don't know if like having a guy who kind of cheeses the system by making you just do one.
Well, no, because you'd still have to buy your own death. You just wouldn't lose the items. That's the benefit. So it's kind of again similar to you paying twice, but instead you've paid it beforehand, so you know you've done it.
And that could be a thing. Is that so? When you die, you pay death as reclaim costs, but also before you stepped into the wilderness, you paid what you will give a PKer if you die. If you get out of the wilderness, you get your cash back. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Alternatively,
that would at least alleviate issues of somebody not being able to afford the double reclaim cost.
Or choosing not to reclaim their items and just wandering off, and then suddenly someone's got money from nowhere.
Yeah, what you could do is I was trying to think about how it works with the void and stuff in old school, where I suppose when you initially die with the void, there is slightly more gold in game, because that isn't gold that you drop, is it? It just spawns out of thin air and gets given to the player,
it's
and
spawned,
then the gold gets taken out of the game slightly later when you repair it. So you could just do that, like when you PK someone, it just drops the 2 mil or whatever the reclaim cost is.
That's what I was going.
And then that money is then taken. Either the money is then taken back out of the game slightly later, or the person doesn't get their gear back. Those are the only two options.
And that's kind of how death costs work now. I think if you die and you cannot afford to buy your shit back, death just holds on to it until you can.
Unless you die again.
Sell him some of. I think it stacks. It just piles up.
I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure if you die twice, it overwrites, because there was some screwy thing.
It used to, but I'm pretty sure it piles up until a set limit.
Don't remember seeing anything changing about that. I'm pretty sure if you die twice, you lose the first set of stuff.
I mean, I guess we could just like go get a set
go
of
die
dragon.
Twice. Yeah.
Get a set of full dragon, die, get another set of dragon or something. Because if it's too low level, I think you just get it back automatically, and then die again and see what happens.
I was gonna bring 4 sharks or something and go and
see if you get
and KBD.
You know what's in wilderness?
Nothing.
Bosses. And you know what RuneScape needs? Some more bosses. Let's talk about bosses.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'd be fine
here's the
with them
thing with
adding,
the
like-
bosses, right?
Yeah. Okay.
How this is going to be hard, right? Because how do you scale what level to make a boss? Because there's so many endgame players now that if you were to invest time putting in all the effort making new content, and then it's say for a mid-tier player, you piss off the higher tier players because, you know, it's a cakewalk for them, it's another KBD. But that being said, there really isn't a good selection of mid lower end bosses, and I had this idea of what if there was one consistent boss, just one consistent boss in the game, and he starts with you at level 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever your combat is. As you level up, this particular boss will implement new mechanics, it will start to drop higher tier rewards, but it's basically like a training system into the rest of the bosses.
So
like levels.
So it's almost like
the giant
Telos in
mimic.
Rage.
No, so it starts off with like the first thing that you need to do is you need to say it's like level 30. You need to learn how to surge and dodge the first thing. You come back to it at level 40. Now I need to add anti-poison because now it's got a poison attack that I need to look out for. And it starts to just like add extra mechanics, but it levels as you do through your story in RuneScape, and eventually, you know, you can tie quests.
So it would kind of be like Telos in Rage, except instead of be based on you killing it, it's based on like your total level or something.
What's the requirements to
combat
get to
level.
Telos at the start now? Like, you know, this is like very early. You can do it from level 10, and it goes with you along your journey.
Yeah. I think
It
you're not
sounds
saying
like,
like exactly the same, but kind of an equivalent sort of thing.
We have something close to that, but it doesn't introduce new mechanics. It'd be interesting if it did, and that's Agaroth. That freaking Kraken monster.
from-
underneath
yeah.
the
Yeah,
ash
yeah,
hill.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it scales with your level, and so if they were to go ahead and improve that monster and add new mechanics to it as you went, that would be a good idea. Overall, I'm saying the boss idea, that's not a bad idea. It'd be kind of cool. It'd be a good way to teach players, bring players into PVM slowly, which is something that Jagex has tried to do. That's why they reworked Giant Mole. Like, it's like here's an introduction to some boss mechanics you're gonna run into.
I swear,
Throughout the
Giant
game.
Mole is broken. The
Just
the
a heads up.
ceiling one doesn't work.
It doesn't work in solo.
What?
In duo, it's fine because in duo, only one of you gets stunned and the other one can free you.
Oh, see,
But,
I've
it,
only
but in
ever
solo,
heard
there's
that.
nowhere to be freed, so you just kind of get stuck there.
But you mainly use anticipate to
I don't
solve it.
think
I thought that was the
you can.
whole
Yes,
point of
you
it.
can.
And I
You
did
can
it. I was doing a
cannot
Giant
do
Mole Reaper last night, and it doesn't work. I swear it doesn't work. As soon as the text came up, anticipate. Oh, you're still trapped.
For reference, I've died with 4 sharks, and then I left Death's office. And if you leave Death's office without paying, you get a gravestone instead.
Yeah.
I'm about to die again and see what happens, but I believe this gravestone will disappear with my items.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
I
got
mean-
great
we'll see shortly.
mechanics still in.
How generous can he be? You've died once, you didn't pay for it. Come on.
What did you
Yeah.
even expect? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, then maybe that's just how it should fucking be. So, well, no, because that would be kind of weird on the other end of that. So I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
my grave's just
that-
reset.
yeah, thought so.
So what I was gonna say was that like maybe that's just how it should be, but in a PvP situation, it's kind of weird. So let's say PKR kills you, you die, he gets the cash, and then, or he doesn't get the cash or whatever. You walk out without buying it, and you drop a gravestone where you died, but the PKR is like already inside of the wilderness because he's left. He wasn't expecting a gravestone to show up.
I think that's.
So it wouldn't-
I think we're all in
work.
agreement that when you die, you should just pay a reclaim cost. I think the problem is working out how to give the PKer.
An appropriate reward.
Their stuff.
Yeah.
And Eddie, I will be invoicing you for the 4 sharks and 333 coins that I just lost.
I would say to keep it simple. If you don't have the money to afford your reclaim costs for what you're bringing into the wilderness, it should just not let you cross the wall.
Okay.
It just checks. If you
Okay.
don't have it, it just doesn't let you cross. It
Or-
says
or-
something about a
or-
magical force prevents you from crossing, and you got to bank some shit or go make some more money. If you want to bring out your full trim masterwork, you got to have the cash to back it up.
Or we do it like we said with the old school one, where when you die, it just kind of gives the PKer the money, and then that money's taken out of the game by you later on when you pay double the death cost.
But if you can't afford the death costs,
Well, then
and
you don't get
leave
your
Death's
items.
office, and you leave
Then-
Death's office, what
But then,
happens?
then more wealth is taken from the game
Exactly.
because
we gotta
you
buy it all
haven't got
again when
you
lose
haven't
it.
got your items.
It just
Um,
deletes your shit.
So let's say
Yeah.
2 mil more is in the game that the PK has got, but also you just lost like 100 mils worth of gear.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. The problem is that it's not very user friendly. Unless they are, I mean, what happens if you just weren't paying attention? You didn't realize that you didn't actually have enough money to cover the death costs,
There's a bank. isn't
and
there?
Death just said, "Fuck you! Your Kopeshes and your full trim
You
masterwork are
can't-
now mine."
You can't
in
have it
that
when he
case-
leaves. You have to have like a 24-hour or a time
Yeah.
gated thing instead.
In that case, you could have it where it goes like old school into like a broken state, or there's like a separate vault of your stuff that you have to then pay to get it back, or something like that. But
Yeah, I would say
slight
like
tangent.
Death holding on to it and you being able to buy it from him would work.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think it would just be simpler to just lock you out. If you
Yeah.
can't afford it, it locks you out of the wilderness.
Slight tangent. So I'm stood in Death's office, and you know how he's sat there on his desk, and he's got that
Mhm.
big like scroll in front of him with the writing. So, for some reason, he started writing it halfway down the paper. Like, it looks like he was almost writing it backwards because the half closest to him is done, but the top of the page is completely blank. and I'm a little bit confused about that. Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent. Yeah.
I'll have to ask him for you.
Yeah, so PKing and whatnot. Yeah, sorry about that.
Last bit on PvP.
Okay. It's been a chunky old topic, this.
Tank armor needs to be nerfed. PvP armor needs to be expanded. That is all.
But no one uses tank armor, so what would be the point of nerfing it? Anyway, let's move back into bosses. Or what would get people into the wilderness in RS3? What bit of content would you add to actually get people to go there?
Actually, saying that, it's quite funny because, like, I honestly think more people would go into the wilderness nowadays if you removed the PvP. Which is funny because removing PvP was what killed the game in the first place.
Yep.
So I think, I think all the people who left because they killed the wilderness have now gone to old school. So the only people left are the people who don't like.
That's the argument you see a lot. In subreddit, whenever it comes up, like every couple weeks, conversation about the wilderness, someone's always like, "Just delete the damn wilderness already." Blah, 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 blah. And a lot of people start arguing about it. And the general consensus for a lot of people is that it's just, if you want a PvP, you go play old school. RS3 PvP is dead. It's never coming back. Just get rid of it. Stop holding on to this stupid nostalgia thing.
But then I think, so if we remove PvP from the wilderness, we also have to remove or redistribute the skilling methods and resources in the wilderness.
Oh, yeah.
Because
That's
you
another thing,
can't
too.
have lava strike worms at their money-making rate.
Heck
For
no,
free.
exactly. And
Even
that's
though
the-
Ripper Demons are like 20 mil an hour with no risk. But that's a
Well,
special case.
they used to be. People, power creep is a problem there. But
Yeah.
yeah, and that's another thing that comes up. People are like, what do you? They're they're just gonna remove PvP and leave the gain rates the same out there. Ha! You're joking. Like they'll nerf the shit out of everything out there.
And then people will complain that they don't
And then people
have
will
their...
complain that the wilderness is pointless because
Also,
it will be.
How have we ended up back on PvP? I feel like this is my fault.
I'm
You
not
mentioned
really
stuff about
sure.
preserving the wilderness.
Because it
We-
was
we've
like,
checked-
it was kind of, is there anything you would add to get people there?
Oh, yeah.
Like, do you think if there was a new boss released in, say, in the volcano, the sword of the edict or whatever it's called, just erupted and suddenly, like, some creature came out of it and there was a boss in the middle of there. Goodbye, cursed
Another anima
energies.
creature. Another.
fair,
anima
actually,
creature.
that-
We already got 3.
From a lore perspective, that's actually something I've just thought of, that the Sword of Edicts is still there, and it's still an Elder artifact. And since the world wakes, all the gods have been back, and no one thought to, pick it up.
I'm confused because, like, I thought that whole thing was what was stopping people, not just the fact Guffix was present.
No.
As
No.
well.
The
Like-
Sword of Edicts is not an Elder artifact. You're thinking of the sword that he used to kill a god with.
Is it
That
not the
sword
same?
is shattered.
Oh, that's the
So-
sword in his temple,
So
isn't
the,
it?
s-
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
it's
Sword
one
of
that the
Edicts
million-
is the one that he used to stop gods stepping foot on Gillinor, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
Even still, like, even still, you'd think
Spoiler
that's a
for
pretty
something from the
powerful
Third
sword.
Age.
As far as I'm aware, the Sword of Edicts is more of a symbolic thing because it was
Oh,
actually
okay.
Guthix himself keeping the edicts up.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
This was more of just like it was a flex. It was a symbol.
Hmm.
But I mean, he was asleep,
Honestly, I
so
think
you know.
he just wanted to write behave in runes on the sword.
Have you
Spe-
guys
spe-
seen that
speaking-
meme of Patrick where he's like, "What if we take Bikini Bottom and push it somewhere else?"
Nope, never heard of it.
Oh
kidding.
my god.
I'm kidding. Yes, of course.
I'm
I've all heard of it.
I'm intrigued as to where this is going.
Yep.
Yeah.
Please
Okay.
continue.
So you guys know artisans, right?
Unfortunately,
What if we just push artisans into the wilderness?
do you know? So I feel like the solution, kind of along that, instead of moving Artisan's Workshop into the wilderness, I think this would be a very popular decision. There would be absolutely no backlash that I can see coming from this. I reckon we just make everywhere PvP.
Yes, I like this.
And that's the game. The RuneScape is just PvP. Like
I
new
feel
player
like-
spawns. It's like Minecraft on like Anarchy or something, where you just spawn in and there's just like
Yeah,
10 people stood in Lumbridge waiting to
RS3
like
is
barrage you.
RS3 is now 2B2T. Like,
Mhm. There's now hordes of level 3 stuck in Lumbridge getting ice barraged from all the other people who physically can't leave because they respawn and die immediately.
you know, the funniest thing about it is within a week, my guru would have a guide on how to get the most magic experience an hour killing fucking noobs on World
Yeah.
Tour.
You know, yeah, that is a good point. It would start when you've got like a full server of 2,000 level 3s there. You barrage them, get 99 in one cast.
So, Miart has just put in chat that the sword was used to create the edicts, which is basically it was used to create the spells that guarded it. So
I'd forgotten that the Elder Sword and the Edict Sword aren't the same thing, because the Edict Sword is it's what well the Elder Artifact Sword is what you use to make that archaeology relic, isn't it? There's something you use for the subtle blade, which is it's something combined with a shard of the Elder Sword thingy. Because the Elder Sword can like change space and time or something fucking crazy like that. And because it's too powerful and unstable, they have to.
Access to.
You what, sorry?
I was gonna say, can we talk about how crazy overpowered some of the stuff our characters have access to is?
Yeah.
We have access to a key that can just turn back time whenever we want. We can just step into the past whenever we want. we have a fragment of an artifact that also controls space-time. And just
Yeah. No one cared about time travel like when the key was around or when we got the shard of the needle. It was only once Kerapak saw the needle he was like, yeah, we're gonna do that. But like
yeah, and the World Guardian's like, I'm this for you. It's like I met Guthix back when he was cool.
yeah.
It's just it's nuts when you think about what the character, like the player character, but in a lore perspective, is capable of.
And also
they're
the
pretty
World Guardian.
powerful.
The World Guardian is a terrible, terrible person.
He's just looking at what you could do with the Karos, Karos. Yes, he's pretty fucked up.
Like, I mean, he's
Insane.
on every single god's team, and also no god's team. He's basically just like a mercenary that just works for whoever he wants as long as they're paying. Especially if you're Jim, who only does quests for rewards. It's literally just Zamorak's like, hey, I'll give you this fancy cape if you help me steal the stone. Yep, fuck it, why not?
But also at the same time, he's a pretty scary, impressive being. He like single-handedly shut down Zautok from returning. Has thoroughly whooped Nomad's ass repeatedly.
Yeah.
Killed Sliske. Although I gotta say, watching
Kind of.
Sliske literally beat the living shit out of your character in Kindred Spirits was great.
Yes.
I love it. It's the only time you ever see your character really get their ass handed to him. And it was so funny to watch.
But can we talk about the thieving skill?
we can do.
Safe cracker.
If you see
yeah,
someone
sure.
walking around, if you see the World Guardian, the guy who's meant to appointed by Guthix to protect everyone, with a cape on his back that shows he's a master thief, are you not going to be like checking your pockets, thinking, "Oh shit, that's where my wallet went" or something?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's the same with Skyrim.
You gonna do anything
You're
about
like
it though? The
world-
man is
world
like
savior,
I
and you're
get-
also like the leader of the Thieves Guild.
Are we just like we're just like a tyrannical? We're evil, but we're just too powerful to be stopped. I think that's the problem. That if as you said that I think it was Eddie that said it in here, but how do you stop the World Guardian from stealing from you? Like he just respawns anyway.
Yeah, death literally just owes him. Ooh, a mojito.
there you go, Noom. Enjoy.
But yeah, now I mean,
If anyone
you
else in
can't-
chat has any requests for drinks, I'm sure I can conjure them up for you.
You're like friends with death. He's just like, yeah, you know what? You can. It's fine. You can just go back.
I feel like Death is the real MVP because his whole thing is like when he doesn't think it's someone's time to die, he just kind of pulls them back. At any point,
Yeah.
Death can just go, yeah, fuck it.
You don't need to die.
But he can equally just go, yeah, you know what? Actually, today's the day.
The
yeah.
World Guardian shows up. You screwed up. You screwed up on a rack sleeve. You show up and he goes, you know what? You're not going back.
Death is secretly Sliske, and one day he's going to appear and just go, yeah, just a prank, bro. Zia.
I
So
just
Scapers,
had this
we found out how
weird
to
thought
teach you.
come into my head. Dark pulls back his hood and it's Arya Stark. Not today.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What do we
Please
say
no.
to death? Not today.
Except it's, what does death say to the World Guardian? Not today. Or no, today's the day.
Jokes.
Jokes. Mad jokes. Oh my god. Fucking...
Mr. Intergalactic Shark.
Yo.
You mentioned you've played 5 games. What are they?
Oh, okay. It's slight exaggeration, but if we're looking at the series that I've played a considerable amount of, there's Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, RuneScape, Overwatch, and oh my god, it might be 4.
I am so disappointed in you.
So, Jack and Daxter, which one's your favorite?
Only one he's played.
X. No.
Oh god, get out.
I have to say the Precursor Legacy, but I might be blinded by nostalgia because that's the only one I played when I was younger. But I mean, how old am I? I'm 19. So Jack 1 came out when I was like 1. So obviously when I was like 5, I had a PS2 and it had Ratchet and Clank 1, Jack 1, Ratchet Gladiator, and a few other games. And that's like my
God.
childhood.
Oh man, it's
and-
so funny hearing you called Ratchet Gladiator.
And then I didn't. Oh, it's Deadlocked as well. Is over your way, I think, isn't it? And
Yeah,
then
it's Gladiator for me.
and then like when I was I think I was in like year 10 or something. That was when I bought a PS2 again to play all the other games. But I think I might be biased just because of nostalgia to Precursor Legacy.
I played the crap out of Renegade. That was my shiz. And the voice acting in that, the like adult humor that you only realize now when you read it, so surely. Do you remember that mission in Jack 2 where you've got to whack the mole?
I remember that. I hated it.
So,
Yeah, that was so hard. On PS2 for whatever reason, that level there was so hard. And the one where you've got to run away from that thing down the tower, like the drilling platform thing, that was a really hard one too, when you're going up the elevator or whatever.
When the boss titles came out, the first one that I really wanted more than anything was the mole title, because it's of the underground. And it was just because of Jack 2. Because like I wanted to be the underground. Like,
I loved Jack
Great plot
1.
twist in that game.
Like,
yeah.
so I mean, I grew up poor, dude. I've been poor pretty much my whole life. My parents were really struggling when I was growing up, but we managed to get a hold of the PS1. And so I'll lead into the PS2 here soon, but there was a game on it that my mom got, and it was one of the first games she got. She got like 3 of them. She got Final Fantasy VII, Tekken 3, Tomb Raider, so there's 4. Tomb Raider, and a game called Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. And she loved Soul Reaver. I loved it too, but it was because my parents were like, my dad was the lead singer of a black metal band, and they were just into that kind of stuff. And if you've played Soul Reaver, you would know it's very gothic, very dark. It's about vampires, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those who aren't into that scene, you might want to elaborate that one.
They were totally into it. It's very monstrous, very evil. It was a great game. But then my mom found out that there was the second one coming out, but it was coming out on the PlayStation 2. So when the PlayStation 2 came out, Soul Reaver 2 came out, she went and bought one. But she didn't get just Soul Reaver. She wanted to get something that me and my brother could also play, and so she got Jack and Daxter. Of course, I played Soul Reaver 2 also. I mean, why not? But playing through Jack and Daxter, or watching her play it, actually, because I didn't play it myself first, I just watched her play it, was mind-blowing. I remember that game just being so pretty and like just smooth and fast and huge compared to the PlayStation 1 games we were used to. And so I do love the first Jack and Daxter. I replayed it like a few years back on the remastered collection, and the first game is just so damn good.
That was
Day-night
Naughty Dog who did that,
cycles.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
But the problem with that at the moment. The reason I'm because obviously Ratchet and Clank's coming back, but I'm happy to leave Jack and Daxter just because the original Naughty Dog team that did Jack and Daxter have now all left. So while it would still be Naughty Dog on paper, it's not. I don't want to risk it being, because it could effectively be anyone creating it because it's not the same people.
My
that's
big
fine.
game when I was growing up was Spyro. And Spyro to me was just the game, especially number 3, Year of the Dragon. That was my game I spent all my time in. But when they did the remaster, I was actually happy with that. That earned my tick of approval. On the first day of release, I 100 and whatever the extra thing is, 115% completed the game from start to finish. Just
Nice.
I remembered where every single gem was in all of the levels. I remembered where all of the eggs were, and it felt exactly the same. That game was a perfect remaster. But I've also played bad remasters, and there's some terrible ones that are coming out nowadays.
I'm so glad that the Spyro remasters were good, especially since we're getting Crash 4 now because of how well the Crash
I heard
remasters
about
did.
that.
That I hope we're getting direct sequel to Spyro. Get rid of all that PlayStation 2 era garbage where they tried to give him like a plot, backstory.
Two things. The Spyro remaster was actually my first proper interaction with the series because it's slightly older than me, so I kind of missed the PS1 era. But also, on the topic of Crash 4, did any of you see the breaking news article when the Crash 4 developers confirmed that there won't be microtransactions in Crash 4? And it's like, this is the level that the gaming industry has got to.
Didn't
where
they
they
do that
have
with
to
Crash
permit,
Racing? Because I got that as well. Crash Racing didn't have it originally, but then they added it afterwards.
But it's like, at the very least, it's got online multiplayer. But like,
I mean,
a
it makes
single
sense.
player
The first game
platformer
did
game
that.
should not have any. They shouldn't even be thinking about MTX in a single player game.
Hello, Shadow of War would
Skins.
like to have a talk with you.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I've played it, but it just baffled me
Yeah,
that's the level we've got to.
I remember
MTX is considered for it.
Shadow of War, when it first came out, was very MTX locked as well. And I mean, to be honest, what would you say your worst example of MTX in a video game is? For me, it's the 2K basketball games.
I haven't played them, so I can't say, but I know they're really bad. Like, the thing is I've dodged the bullets on most of the prime examples, like Battlefield Battlefront before they fixed it.
Yep.
NBA 2K, all the sports games. But for me personally, as far as I can tell, I'd honestly say it's probably RuneScape.
Yeah, as I said, out of all of the games, out of all the very few games I've actually put a lot of time into, only 2 of them have MTX, and RuneScape's one of them, so I feel like it just kind of takes the cake there. So.
Yeah.
Overwatch is purely cosmetic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's loot boxes, but also you can get all the loot boxes for free, and you can. They made a change about a year ago, I think it was now, that you can now even just get coins by playing the game. Because it used to be that if you wanted to buy skins with coins, you had to get it out of loot boxes in the first place. But now you can just play enough games on a certain role, and you've got any skin that you want.
There's a mobile game called The Simpsons Tapped Out. That was
Oh Christ!
MTX.
Some people at my old job used to play it.
Every
Building,
mobile
and then
game.
you gotta pay more to like fast build the houses, and then you've got like a cooldown. It's very MTX.
Yeah, I play games like that.
All
okay,
of
so in
those
that case,
mobile games.
Castle Crashers.
Castle Clash. It
Clash
was
of
like a
Clans.
it was like a Clash of Clans clone, but it was called Castle Clash, and it was better than Clash of
See,
Clans.
I quite
personally.
enjoyed that that little multiplayer Clash of Clans. Was it Clash Royale?
Oh, Clash Royale's fun, yeah.
Like that was fun. I played that for a few weeks, but never put any money into it because nah.
It just reminded me there was a singing monsters. I wonder if that still exists.
See, in terms of MTX in RuneScape, I know this is a very... it shouldn't be a controversial topic, actually, but it's one of those ones that... It's a Reddit topic, so I kind of want to avoid it. But I'm still just really jaded over that first stream they did with Mod Mike. when they were talking about MTX
Crap.
or mod mate. When
To be
the
fair,
line-
if that was the first time like he'd been on a stream
Yeah.
ever, he was probably pretty nervy and it
No,
just
yeah,
didn't
but,
come
like,
across well at all.
Eddie, me and you were talking on Discord
make
when this was
YouTube.
going on, weren't we? But it was when because this is right after the first cat promo had come out, and the line was something like, "Yeah, so basically everyone seems to have really liked the cat promo, but smoldering lamps makes more people buy keys, so we're going to do that." And that was when it was just like, I get it. Going back to what we said earlier, it's a business thing,
Yeah,
but
it's a
like,
business thing.
what the fuck?
Eddie,
Yeah,
remember
hey.
our conversation?
Which one?
Everyone has phones.
Oh yes, everyone has phones. Poor Diablo. Poor Blizzard. That was just not the
Oh,
way
yeah.
to
Do
go
you not have
around it.
phones? Yeah,
Uh,
that development for that push for development for Diablo 4 got real quick after that bombshell.
Yeah.
It's like,
Did-
oh,
did-
we're
did
not
that
working
ever-
on Diablo 4, and then the announcement for
was it? It was
Eternal came
Diablo.
out.
Yeah,
Immortal.
Eternal. That was it. Oh, Immortal.
Did
that's
that ever come out?
Let's have a look.
Diablo Immortal, yes.
Because see, I'm actually quite intrigued because I've never played a Diablo game. That like, I probably would
Don't.
actually play it.
Play
It's not
2,
actually out yet, apparently.
Oh,
play
oh my
2 or
God.
wait until 4. That's all I suggest. Play 2 or wait till 4.
Okay, not 3.
I've heard good things about 3 now. If we're talking about
it's
Diablo
okay,
still.
but it's not Diablo. As far as
Like,
I'm
as a
it's
good,
not Diablo.
I've heard it's a good
missing-
game, but
Yeah, it's missing that Diablo charm. Like Diablo is a very dark, fucked up game, and Diablo 3 isn't. It's like just a World of Warcraft with a different camera perspective. And
Speaking of MTX though, with that and World of Warcraft, this is good. What if RuneScape was to bring out expansion packs? Like
Oh.
World
Pass.
of
it
Warcraft?
wouldn't
Pass.
work. The player base doesn't like expansions. We already know that. That's
Yeah,
just,
they
it just wouldn't.
tried expansions that were free with Menethos. I think also the other thing is the scale of the game. I haven't played World of Warcraft, but I feel like the scale of the game isn't quite there. That they did an expansion and it was Menethos, but it's still actually relatively small. In terms of content, like I was done with, apart from
It's
doing,
a city.
I did my daily pylon thing for a month or so, and apart from that, it like I haven't been to Menethos. The closest I've been to Menethos was reclaiming my Slayer Codex, so I can just go and do Ripper Demons.
But if you're like playing a max account, like what I'm doing the series, Menethos is where I live for all of my fishing and woodcutting.
Yep,
I
that
suppose,
was the
yeah,
same for me.
This is where it's kind of a different perspective for me, that because I've been maxed since like Prif, I see content with a much different light.
Yeah,
Like
see, that's what I was talking about with the
yeah.
bosses. Like, it's
yeah,
a different viewpoint
mid-range.
between, yeah.
mid-range skilling content comes out, and it's like, okay, cool.
The difference.
that's what I was talking
one of the
about.
big problems is that Prif was a fucking mistake.
It's too good.
Yes, exactly. I mean, now it's finally not as good. There is finally content out there that is better than what you can do in Prif.
Mhm.
But for years, it was Prif or bust. And so you can't release a new city that isn't better or as good as Prif Dinis. And that's what Menethos did.
Yeah.
Like, they came out and it's like, it's not aimed at level 75, it's aimed at level 50. But even aimed at level 50, it doesn't offer as much to level 50s
Yeah.
as what Prif offers to level 75s.
Yeah, but Prif
Like,
was
you
needed
have-
at that time. RuneScape was in a very rough, bad place, and Prif
I
really
mean,
was needed.
You couldn't.
Prif in its concept, yes, but what launched we did not.
Right. Would it have
They
been
did not
better?
give us
Hang on.
a city. They gave us a skill hub. Like, they didn't give us a city.
Would it have been better if they released the other way around, in your opinion?
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
Probably.
Because your most mid-tier players get to experience the mid-tier stuff, and then they get to step up to Prif. It's in like order of how people.
But
would
do you
level.
think at the time when Prif was released, there were more people playing that were high level or mid level?
I
Because
remember a lot of
would
people
it- would it-
smashing
I
Prif
think
quest
we're
straight
kinda-
away.
We're kind of you're missing the mark here, because
It's about
it
new
isn't
players
so much,
coming in as well.
it isn't so much about what Menethos doesn't have and what Prif did. It's more the fact that Prif made 90% of the game obsolete
Yeah.
overnight. As soon as it fucking came out, there was no reason to do 90% of the content of the game unless it was to get to Prif. because Prif
83.
just had better. It was better experience rates, and it was more AFK. Like, I think what would work is if Prif came out with half the content it currently does in terms of skilling methods.
It did.
And
it came out in 2
Menafos-
batches.
Ah, shut up.
Actually,
You know what I mean.
Did.
And
That-
get
Menafos
lore drops.
had the- like
that's another gripe I have.
Menafos
with-
had the other
Prif.
half. It's because it's all in one place. There's nothing wrong with these great experience methods and these great training methods, these great experience rates, these great cash rates. The problem is they're all in the same damn place. That was my problem with it.
See,
It needed to be.
you see the
spread
solution,
out.
right? From everything we've spoken about, we just push Prif into the wilderness.
God damn it!
we said the best XP rates have a risk, so just
I expect.
Just
Exactly.
Zarus is like,
Prif
nah, you're
in the
elves.
wilderness.
Get into
Up
the
for that.
wildy. Boom.
I expect half the profits from that joke because
You
I
want to go
definitely
to the Grand
signed up for it.
Exchange and get PK'd while standing at the bank?
so you're there. You finally maxed. You're like, yes, I can finally walk into the max guild. And
Get
as soon as you
PK'd.
open the door, someone just AGX.
Just watch out! Somebody is rushing you and AGS specs your ass into the ground. No, it's yeah. I think the problem is Manifos doesn't offer enough. Prif offers too much.
Yeah.
So
Also,
which one
I
are we
mean-
moving to Wildy?
I mean,
Everything.
I
I still
Men-
stand by PvP everywhere.
yeah, me too. Me too. I'm down for that. Or like an anti-wilderness. It's just another wilderness on the opposite side of the map. Just
I
make
think-
the whole desert PK.
I
I'm
think
down for
it's-
that.
Slowly
Yeah.
it encroaches from
Yeah.
both sides until the
It-
entire world is.
It's not a question of moving everything into the wilderness. It's a question of moving the wilderness into everywhere else.
Everything.
We need another Stoner Jazz incident.
Yeah.
Zamorak, come back and destroy the rest of the world.
I know he just needs to do it again. Just I mean,
Yeah.
we all kind of forgot how cool he is. He needs to blow things up. Anyway,
Who knows? Maybe that's today's quest.
Yeah,
I
can we-
very
can we
much
just-
doubt it.
Can we just talk about how he survived that? Like, it's only just occurred to me. Sure, he had the Stone of Jas and he made it go boom, and now it's like dead. But the Stone of
Every-
Jas is meant to be like god-killing power, and he just stood there next to it while it obliterated a continent.
yeah, but it also didn't affect any of the gods. It's literally just mortal beings affected. So obviously, he didn't use its full power. He did something else.
He tried
And
to use
we
its full
will
power.
never-
No, because
we
he
won't
no
get
right. No, I read about this when I was doing the Gold Wars. He tried to kill the gods, but it didn't work, and that's why it destroyed the continent. Like he was trying to harness its power to kill the gods, but because he didn't have mastery or something over it, that's
So
why
there's
Front 3
probably a
got
level
actually
of
wrecked.
you, like fucking. I want to say something like Newton's third law or whatever. So he can't actually create a power stronger than himself.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
if
mean,
you
that's
wanna-
the point.
yeah,
That's the point
you
of
wanna
the Stone
use
of
this-
Jas, though.
I-
That's
I
literally
suppose so.
the point of the Stone of Jas.
But it might be that the stone won't. I don't know. That makes more sense. It could just be that
Yeah.
he just did not use.
Mm.
Um,
I suppose in the moment when you've got the 3 other gods there staring at you, wanting to kill you, you're probably not thinking about what's the optimal way to use this ancient elder artifact. It's more,
fuck, which one of these
boom,
buttons was I supposed to press? Just
Or go
get
boom.
them all. Like, yeah. And then there goes 4 and 3. You know what? Close enough. I didn't like Zara. You know. I'm gonna say one thing about Manafod, and then I'm gonna move away from that. What you get?
Okay, I was gonna say I think it's. I've got a nice little break from RuneScape talk in a minute, so I'll let you
Alright,
wrap up
cool.
your Metaphos chat and then.
Why is it that the Menafos is a hub city, Farrock is a hub city, Prifdinus is a hub city, Menafos
Berthorpe is a hub city.
Mhm.
Kind of.
whatever. Yeah, sure, actually, yeah, I guess it is. But
Yeah, I
anyway,
I feel it goes like
Metaphos.
Berthorpe, Varrock, Menaphos, Prif.
yeah, Menafos is a hub city. There are 2 house portals in the desert. 2. One in Menafos, one in Poldvinich.
I only found the Menaphos one like a week ago. I
It's
didn't
kinda
near
realize
the
there was-
near the temple.
It's
Yeah,
it
because
is,
isn't
it's
it
right
was
next
when
to
I
the-
was going back to the pyramid to reclaim my codex. I saw this big shiny portal and I was like, "Oh, what's that? Oh, it's just a house portal. Why is
Yeah.
that there?"
Anyway, so there are 2 house portals out there. Why the fuck is there no lumber mill out there? Prif has a house portal.
Because there's
and it has
because
lumber
it's a
mill.
desert. Why
Varrock
would they have
has a lumber mill.
trees?
Berthorpe has a lumber mill
Does
and
it?
a house portal. Why does
Burthorpe does, yeah.
not
It's
have
near the
one.
house portal.
All right, it's technically Taverley, but you know they're the same thing.
What?
Why doesn't
Okay,
Menopause
hang
have
on.
one?
Right near
There
the house
is
portal.
a carpenter. There is a carpenter
Is
in.
there?
Yep.
There's a carpenter in Sophonim. He doesn't sell anything. he says he will in the future, but he doesn't sell anything.
It's because protein planks are the only valid option, and you don't need a lumber mill then. Just use protein
Furthermore.
planks for everything.
Furthermore, why is there no invention workbench in Menopause?
Sorry,
there's
I panicked. I logged in to go and check Taverley, but I forgot that I'd left myself in Death's office with no gear or anything equipped, and
And you panic.
I saw
Rage
myself
quit.
strip here and thought, "Shit, I died."
Anyway,
yeah.
the moral of the story is that Menopause is supposed to be like it's missing a lot of things that actually make it a hub city.
I think in terms of it having an invention workbench, the problem is it's
Even
a
Brick doesn't
it's
have one of
it's
those,
the
so
mi-
it's a big deal.
the problem with Menopause having it is it's the mid-level level 50 place, but if you're looking at invention, then you're looking at base 80s.
I
and
feel
like-
like that's just.
You've moved past Menopause at this point. Like if you're 80
like-
smithing
I don't
and
know.
all that,
I feel like that's just bullshit because Menopause also has access to the personal Slayer dungeon.
yeah,
The
true.
Sophonim Slayer dungeon is
I-
out there.
yeah.
I understand that it was aimed at level 50, but if Jagex doesn't want to fuck themselves out of doing something useful with the best looking piece of content they've made in a long time, then they need to not latch on to that 50. Like, screw 50. You've got plenty of content there built around level 50, but you are allowed to put shit in there that is higher or less than 50. You're allowed to. It's not.
We-
Mr.
it's
Kathaar,
not the end
maybe
of the
you
world.
should
We're kind of
host a
contradicting
ninja
ourselves.
fix.
Are we?
Kind of contradicting ourselves here because we were just talking about Priv having everything.
It's
No
not.
way.
I'm not talking about adding
No, no.
everything. I'm just talking about adding.
But that's
stuff
everything in terms of
the
skilling
hub city.
methods. Having
You-
just an
you-
invention
yeah,
workbench
you-
isn't the
Having all
same.
the skills in one area.
You're just talking about adding the things that would be really convenient for your desert lock time. Matt.
Yeah, you got me. No, you're right.
Mhm.
It's and yeah, I mean like having a sawmill out there would help, but I really don't care.
Where is
But,
the sawmill in Taverley? I can't find it.
It's right near the house portal. But anyway, let's move on from talking about cities and RuneScape, and let's find out. Jim, please explain to me what a Milo is, because apparently the one I drew for you is not. Well, I mean, also the one I
Milo
produced you.
is a beverage that can be eaten or it can be in a warm beverage variety. There is two kinds of Milo. You can just pour
Right.
all of the powder into the bottom and then pour your milk in and then you eat the powder from the top. Becomes like a milkshake. Or you can drink it more like a coffee and put it into the mug, add your sugar and just drink it that way. That is a Milo.
Okay. Because
Yeah,
I
y'all
googled
awesome,
it to
yeah.
try to draw yours and was completely confused as to what was going on because there were so many different things coming up. I thought it was like a coffee powder or something like that, but I was told quite swiftly by Zert that was no.
It's just chocolate and malt.
We don't have it here. Like, it doesn't exist.
If you have chocolate and malt, then you have Milo.
This is
Two
true.
separate
Is it
pieces.
just hot chocolate? Is that
It's pretty much.
It's not hot chocolate. It's got a different texture and flavor to it.
okay?
It's a hot malt.
Like I have both, and yeah, they're very different in that regard. But that being said, we have a lot of Australian things that's just Australian, like Tim Tams and stuff like that.
I've had Tim Tams. They're good.
Good Aussie stuff.
So what?
Sorry, just a thought I've had, just to interject slightly there. On the topic of moving things to the wilderness, if you could move any one in real life place to the wilderness, where is it?
What?
If you could take a country and just put it in the wilderness, it's PvP
like-
now. That country's PvP.
I feel like if I put
Where are we
Australia in the wilderness, it wouldn't change anything.
What?
I mean, technically, that's what a war zone is.
Yeah.
And
Well, actually, yeah.
we've still got a couple of those going,
Oh,
so I
so
think
if
we
I
don't
put
need to
my-
move anything.
If
Well,
I
no,
put
because
my
if you
whole
kill
country
someone in a war
wilderness,
zone-
nothing changes.
Oh,
If you
technically, it would be
kill someone in a
clan
war
wars.
zone, people
It wouldn't be PvP. It would be clan wars.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be red
So
portal.
full on PvP.
It's more like the purge.
Yeah. Okay. It's like, which country do you want to sacrifice to death?
Washington D.C. Can I just put Washington D.C. in there?
That's a country.
It's a part of my country.
It's a city.
You just said one place. You just said
Oh,
one place.
we've got Italy has been sacrificed by the shark.
Italy's been sacrificed. I
No,
think
the pizza or the pasta, please.
Italy has
And the
suffered
Italians,
enough.
of course.
I think Italy has
Ovaltine mixed
suffered
in the
enough.
hot chocolate, kind of like that, but more crunchy. Just reading chat. I'll sacrifice Tasmania because we don't count them as Australians. They're on their own island.
Oh.
Fair enough.
No
Yeah.
love for the Tasmanian tiger, huh?
Yeah,
Have you seen that's
Tasmanians
getting a
are
remaster?
basically,
Is it?
Hawaii and stuff like that.
Oh my
to
god, that's
America.
awesome.
Yeah, they apparently they did a Kickstarter or something like that for a Tasmanian Tiger remaster, but
Oh, no, it's
just like
gonna suck.
no one noticed, and then it's done and it's coming out in like a week on every console.
Okay, hold on. I've got to.
I've been playing a lot of Hunter Call of the Wild in my downtime as my relaxing game away from RuneScape. It's a great game.
Wait, there's life away from RuneScape.
Yeah, I know. All 10
I'm
minutes
the
of it.
Tasmanian Tiger HD
Jesus.
on Nintendo Switch. There's trailers for it. Wow. Holy cow. Dude, I want this. It's the best game ever. Best game ever. Not really, but it was fun. I liked it.
Switch is an interesting console. It's got decent graphics power. Everyone's trying to port games to it, but they're all old games because they're the only things that would run on it. So,
Crisis.
yeah, like what the hell? Some of the games are like really old. That they're
It's when
porting
when
over.
like Doom was released on it for £60. It's like
so stupid.
Doom is like £5 pre-owned on the PS4, and you're
Yeah.
expecting me to pay £60 to play it outside
On an underpowered console. that has
in
to turn off
720p.
Settings in 720.
I need to play Breath of the Wild. Everyone says that's good. I haven't gotten around to it.
I really want to switch just to play Mario Odyssey, Mario Maker, and Breath of the Wild. But
I own
I'm not.
Breath of
But
the
like,
Wild and I haven't played it yet.
it's
That's
all
the thing about
it's all held its price too well that I'm not paying like 400 quid to play 3 games.
That
Even
is
though I'm
Nintendo,
about-
though, isn't it?
Even-
Nintendo
Premium.
is.
even though I'm completely prepared to buy a PS5 just to play Ratchet and Clank.
Speaking of exclusives, did y'all see the Halo Infinite trailer yet?
Sure did.
Looks pretty bad.
On the
Looks rendered on PC.
I
Looks
think
very, very unfinished.
I really like how it looks because my only experience with Halo is with Combat Evolved on the PC on a terrible PC port we used to play at school. But,
Yeah, right.
but as a next gen, like the console like mascot game, it's like no, that looks horrendous.
No,
But
it's Halo with a grappling hook, which sounds good. I'd play that.
Yeah.
Halo with a grappling hook, cool, but
it
like it doesn't
feel
feel
it
like anything new.
it looks like it will play very well if they get that Halo feel, and it is Halo with a grappling hook. I'd be completely happy to play it. But yeah, I think the looks of it aren't great.
You guys are obviously the big lore of RuneScape. I am a massive Halo nerd, so
Okay.
this is where I'm like, yeah, in my strong point.
Oh.
So the story is going to follow the Banished, which is basically the new Covenant, because obviously that story is finished there, and we've still got to go after Cortana because she's gone rogue and she's taken all of the Guardians with her, which are like these big Forerunner, basically things to be a backup plan if the rings failed. And she's taken them with her, and she now controls them. And her mindset is basically AI is the supreme being of the universe. Let's turn.
And now
everyone
she's
digital.
in everyone's PC.
Yeah.
So funny story. I really like playing Halo, but I'm not going to buy an Xbox just to play Halo. So I've never owned an Xbox. But
Same.
What
I
about
do
Forza?
own the Halo 5 Collector's Edition with the big statue and everything, and I have never owned an Xbox. I just have the statue on my shelf because it looks really.
Yeah,
And it was
right.
like 30. I found it 30 quid on offer, and I was like, yeah, I'm just having that to go on my shelf. So if I ever get an Xbox, I have a digital download code for Halo 5.
It's kind of funny that Cortana is arguing that AI is the superior being when literally the reason she thinks that is because of the reason that AI is a problem, and that's they start to deteriorate over the years
Yeah.
and lose their mind. Like, which is what she is doing. She has
She
gone
going
completely
cray
she's gone off
cray.
because she's lived too long. I remember, I've read the
Yeah,
books.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I read Fall of Reach. You don't really need to read like The Flood and the other books, but
The Flood is awesome. They're
it's all right. But
my
I know the
favorite
main
enemy
issue.
in that game.
I mean, the book, The Flood. I know the main issue with the books is that they're written by different writers.
Yeah,
and so
Karen
there's,
Travis is the main
consistency
author.
Issues. Yeah, that looks pretty cool, Galaxy. I saw that.
Yeah, but it's massive.
I've got half of that. I don't have the full collector's edition. I've got like the steel book and all the crap that came with it. For me, I am like, so you know how there's obviously elitist in RuneScape 3 and they're like talking about I got a sub 1 minute Raxi kill with blah 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 blah. I'm that for Halo though. So that's my elitist game. Like I used to play MLG for pretty much professionally in Australia when I was a kid because go competitions, win money, all of that stuff. So Halo is definitely my, if I'm going to sweat my ass off in a game, it's going to be that for multiplayer. But that mentality I do see in RuneScape with people really trying to get these fast kills and just pixel perfect timing off their abilities. I can't do it, but I do respect it.
See, I was about to say, because I know I'm bad at every game I play, I'm not elitist, but I'm thinking back to how I was talking about dungeoneering and saying you shouldn't be able to AFK, you should have to train properly. Go into I might actually be elitist.
I mean, is it elitist to say you have to skill the skill by doing the way the skill is meant to be skilled?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
feel
Or
like
is
it's
that
not
just
elitist to
being...
want people to train it the way it was
I
intended.
don't feel like
It's
it's
a
elitist to say to play the game. You should actually have to play the game.
It's a shame
But
Mr.
also-
Proshox isn't here, because he's literally, like, yesterday did a video on elitism in
Yeah.
RS3.
But and I also feel like nobody goes, yes, I am elitist. This is okay.
Yeah, but they don't think that because it's their mentality. They're so, they're like got god complex syndrome or something where it's all about them. Like,
And
and
then
if
they
you're
make
not on
YouTube
their
series.
level,
Yeah, I mean, when I got my first Telos kill, like 0%, I was so happy to have finally killed Telos. And I go back, and one of my mates is in the max kill, so I have killed one Telos. And everyone else was just like, it's just a punching bag, and I was like, oh, right.
I hate that. That's my most hated thing in the game is when you say, oh, I finally got a kill of, say, anyone, even Vindy or something like that. I did my first kill, and then someone in chat's like, Vindy's easy. And it's like, no, it's not for that person. It takes a long time to get to the point of like, there's an evolution of learning how to use your abilities is step one, learning, what armor works, what even fucking combat type the thing is that you're trying to kill. That's a learning process and it takes a while to get there. You don't just drop in and do it. This person's only saying it's easy because they've been doing it for the last 4 years. But once upon a time, they were that person learning. They just forget what it was like to be an early
Well, what's
person.
interesting as well, it's almost like they kind of feel threatened because, as you said, if you're like a high level player and you see someone get their first KBD solo or something, you go, oh yeah, brilliant, you're trying to encourage them, go, oh, that's really cool. And then the better they get, the more you're just like, it's just Telos, it's just Arax, or it's not that hard. And it almost gets like more elitist the closer they get to the higher someone gets.
Because they don't get to feel that feeling anymore about they don't get to experience the excitement of, oh yeah, I finally killed this thing for the first time. They've been they've been chasing that high and they don't get it and they're pissed off that you're getting it so fucking easy.
So what you're saying is the solution to the elitist problem is to give the elitist more content to try, as in like
Solution
actually release
to
bosses.
is to laugh at them for fucking giving such a damn about pixel.
Yeah.
That's it. You just
I reckon we just give them all new content to try, so they can do that, and then we can actually
The
get some
impossible
bosses.
boss. That's the joke. It's unbeatable, but just let them keep trying.
Yeah, they write it into the code that like there's some mechanic that appears to be RNG, but just always kills you, and they just never tell us.
Zert's got the answer. Lock the elitist in the wilderness.
Move the elitists to the wood.
That is one piece of content I want to move to the wilderness. The
is it-
elitists.
Did you ever watch Will Missett's World like 3? It was like World 313 or something. It was like a film he made where it was all the big people who had been banned, like Durrell and stuff. It meant to be them having like a Hunger Games style thing, and the one that wins gets to come back into the game.
That sounds
Like-
amazing.
That's
I
I
imagine-
haven't seen it, but sounds good.
but imagine that, but for the elitists, that like they all have a big PvP fight, and then the one that survives can be as toxic and elitist as he wants to. Everyone else gets perma muted.
Ooh, that's it. That would solve a lot of problems.
And because they're all elitist, they would all think they're going to win. So they wouldn't go, "Oh, that's too much of a risk for me." They'd go, "Yeah, well, I'm the best anyway." And then we'd.
The problem is, the elitists usually don't know how to PvP at all, so it'd be really funny. To
Okay,
watch.
we have, yeah. Actually, yeah, I was going to say do it in like a Telos like thing, but actually putting them in a situation that they wouldn't know would probably be funnier.
Yeah, but they're also saying, "Oh, it's easy with tier 92s, Inquisitor staffs, and just going zzz, dead."
What about if you did it so you had a boss that had infinite HP and it was just the last one to survive in the instance, and it turns out that everyone just dies and everyone gets perma muted at the end, but no one knows.
This is almost going back to our start of the podcast when it was about the life support on the bikes. That it's just who dies first.
I forgot about that. We started this
Carrot on the
podcast
stick.
so fucking dark.
It's a carrot on the stick. They think they're gonna get something, but there's no actual way.
Oh my god. When like this goes onto YouTube, people are gonna see that intro and just be like, "What?"
Is this going to
Hey.
Yeah, it will.
Imagine if that was what the bikes were on
in
the
the throne room thing, yeah.
They don't tell anyone, but the secret mechanic is as soon as you get off the bike, you just like it hardcore Iron Man style insta kills you and your account is gone.
You just fucking
As
lost.
soon as you step on, that's it.
Yeah,
No
that's
getting
your
off.
account. Once you reach
Lads.
your XP cap, sorry, but
Game over.
Or
I hate to do
that's
this
the
to you
only way
guys.
to get off. You have to get all 800k.
It literally restarts you to 1 and you go again.
Yeah.
I hate to do this to you guys. It's 2 a.m. and I have work tomorrow.
I had a feeling that was going to come along at some point fairly soon.
Yeah, I tried to behave.
Okay, should we...
Yay!
One
a
more
podcast where
topic?
I'm not deadly asleep.
It's
time to share it.
It's a podcast where I'm deadly.
See, here's the thing. The name Scapers After Dark works because at any one point, for one of us, it is after dark.
One of us is half asleep. That's the joke of the podcast. One of us is a zombie, and you have to guess which one it is.
What time is it for you?
It's
Shit.
7 p.m. here.
7 p.m. Okay, because I feel like you're the one that's got off lucky here. Because for me and Eddie, it was like 7, 8 in the morning, and then for Kathaar, it's like midnight, and then it's just a nice little evening chat for you.
Yeah, but last
weekend,
time he was up at 2 a.m. until like
Okay, that's
4:30.
fair.
So we kind of take it in turns.
Next time, we're gonna make Eddie start at 4 a.m.
I will definitely be giving Protox his spot back if you're starting at 4. I will not be here at 4 in the morning. It also doesn't
dear.
help that like my parents' bedroom is next door, so if I was talking like this at 4 in the morning, they wouldn't be best pleased.
Oh no, my fiance walked in earlier, going, "You're talking fucking loud, and it's 2 in the morning, dude." I was like, "Oh no." So no, I get
Make
it.
Eddie
but-
start at 4:20. Nice.
Nah, you gotta come, because unlike Pro Talks, you actually talk about lore. It's fun. It's interesting. I don't even remember what Pro Talks was talking about. Something about
Oh,
selling people shit.
oh.
I
I'm
made it
kidding.
an
I like
effort
talking with
to
I mean, we were
stay
talking about
quiet
yeah.
this time.
I'm kidding. I'm just totally kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably.
I mean,
you know,
to be
we'll
honest,
always
Jim,
talk
we've
about
covered a
that
lot
stuff.
of lore-based stuff, which is not your sort of thing, really, is it?
And we also
Nah.
completely ignored the fact that we moved on to a boss topic. We were talking about the wilderness, then moved on to bosses, moved back onto the wilderness, and then just
Over half of this podcast was talking about the wilderness.
I'm
It's
pretty sure
I
that's
would say it's a hot topic, but it's not. It's just
no.
no, it's like, hey,
Not at
PvP.
all.
One person shows up.
This is how people watching it's going to be. They're going to watch it, see the first thing about bikes, go. They're either going to go, "Oh, no thanks," or "Okay, this could be interesting."
And then we start talking about PvP, and they're like, "Oh, no thanks."
Well, see,
Actually, yeah, right. Let's get back to favorite drinks because I was gonna like we talked about a Milo and then somehow skipped over and went back. Let's end with everybody's favourite drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic.
Let's go from right to left this time because I'm sick of going first.
Okay, is that me first?
Quick,
Yep.
Eddie, move Jim to the other side.
Yeah.
No.
Flip the
screen.
image.
I'm Australian. It's backwards.
So it's upside down. Not
Same thing. Upside down is backwards.
It's just vertically backwards.
Exactly.
Extra backwards.
Okay.
We broke Eddie.
Right. So
Let's Google it.
favorite drink would be something, well, cider basically, like alcohol wise. It's got to be a cider of some sort. Nothing too sweet. So I quite like you know the room temperature ciders. I can't remember the actual proper name for them. I don't know if you've ever had them.
Babe, what's a
Apple.
room temperature cider called? Never mind.
Warm.
Tried.
I don't know, but
Awesome.
they're like very flat, and it's quite a sort of a smoother. You haven't got the bubbles and stuff like that. So that I would say a room temperature cider.
Room temperature ciders. Alcoholic ciders. Do they have a name?
What temperature is room temperature?
Well, they're kept like in a. They're not kept in a fridge, basically.
Okay. I was going to say, this depends on where you are, because if you're here in like a heat wave, you know. Are we talking heat wave or like average British day?
Is it vinegar cider?
I'm burning your fucking mouth off here in Australia. Room temperature. Ah, shit.
Do you want to, you fancy a hot drink? Do you want a tea, a coffee, a cider? And
But anyway, that would be my mine. So Kathaar, yourself?
Oh crap.
We'll do alcoholic first and then go back through
Yeah,
non-alcoholic.
sure. I'm really okay. So I hate beer. I don't like beer.
I am the
I like
same.
stout.
I'm the same.
Porters. I don't like ports. I don't like ciders. I don't like any of that.
Oh,
Fiance loves them, but I do like hard alcohol, and so I do
frozen
like
alcohol, like ice.
whiskey sours. Whiskey sours are nice. And if you don't know what that is, it is whiskey, lemon juice, sugar, and egg white. Egg white you can either add or not add. It adds a bit of texture to it. But you go either way.
That sounded like alright until you started putting eggs in it.
Might be
I don't know.
okay.
Just the egg white, and it actually doesn't change the flavor at all. It just thickens the drink, makes it a little thicker, a little creamier. It really doesn't change how it tastes. That's why I say you could either go with or without it. Some people are like, it's not an actual whiskey sour if you don't add the egg white. God, I'm not that elitist. It's fine.
Wait, I didn't do this. We're still talking about elitism. There we go.
Well, it's
look-
fun because we were still talking about
Yeah.
elitism. Think of that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
They
I
do
wrote
look
the
pretty
pack
good
for you.
actually. I'm looking at Google
Anyway.
Images.
Next.
So this one's a bit awkward because I don't drink, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you're
have
like
to
19.
pass on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have an answer to this.
The man's at university
what
not
would be-
drinking.
what would be
How?
the drink that you would want to try?
A non-alcoholic drink.
Oh, okay. You don't.
You just
mind, you don't
never-
actually like.
No, I have had some things in the past, but I just didn't really like them. Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way. I fell into whiskey sours on accident. Don't worry. Get you.
All right, Jim.
Okay, Jim.
Straight vodka.
Nice.
Oh. Well, I feel.
Yep.
Inadequate.
All this time, Jim was the elitist.
Well,
Yep.
because Zer asked for a pint of JD earlier in chat.
You
so-
mix your drinks. Gus. Take my alcohol raw.
Super raw.
My grandmother was like that. My great grandmother, 77-year-old woman in a wheelchair. She'd drink a glass of vodka on the rocks every night.
See, yeah, I've heard, you know all these people that you see who are living to like 104, and it's like, what's your secret? And they go, oh, I don't have a secret. Like, I have like I drink every day and I smoke and stuff. And it's like, how were you alive?
I just lucky genes.
Yeah.
I think it's only because she only had one glass. And actually help because there is
yeah.
a sweet spot. And she did it out of respect for her deceased husband who used to drink vodka on the rocks all the time. So it was like
Right.
an homage. So it wasn't because she thought it'd make her live longer, although she did live into her 80s. But yeah, so I don't know, man. People can just do that vodka on the rocks. I just
According to my Instagram,
rubbing
yoga
alcohol.
is what makes you live longer.
I heard it was healing.
Hashtag yoga.
Hashtag DDP yoga.
What about like oh, yoga? I thought you were saying yogurt. Like, I get like a go-gurt? Like
See,
I do like yogurt.
Eddie, was that a wrestling reference?
Oh, it was, yeah.
I caught that.
Yeah, okay, good. I thought you'd done wrestling like references in the
Yeah,
past, and that's
yeah.
right. Okay.
Kathaar, when you were confused, I thought you were going to say, I thought you said Yoda. And I
Oh
was-
yeah, Yoda makes you live longer. He's only like
Isn't he
6,000 years
dead?
old.
Like,
Yeah, he lived for a pretty long time, so all you have to do is be like 2 foot tall, green, and also a Jedi Master, and you'll live to like 6,000.
can I do like 2 out of 3?
Depends on which 2.
The short
Okay.
is a necessity.
Shorts requirement. I'm like
Yeah.
6 foot 5'11".
Hang on. So
Less
you're gonna
body,
be a Jedi
longer
Master.
life.
Could you just like cut me off at the knees? Would that work?
Ooh.
I could be like what's his name?
Good luck
Hank
cycling
Hill's,
that bike.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
as long as you keep riding, you'll stay alive, right? That's
be
the
like-
secret.
I could be like Hank Hill's
Just
dad. You can cut
stumps.
off my shins and then just sew my feet to my knees. So I just don't have shins.
I'll just sew your knees to the pedal.
Yeah, that works. Now this really is.
That
an
way you can't
episode.
get off.
This really is a Saw movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Soft drinks.
Soft drinks. Soft drinks.
For me, there's
Eddie, quick.
So
Soft
there's, like,
drinks.
Americans bottle of pop.
so I quite like Tango apple and raspberry. That's a nice one. It's like refreshing.
Yeah.
All right, Kathaar, go.
Okay, for one, I know what a soft drink is, and we don't call them pop here. It's not 1953. We call them soda.
Really?
Actually, there might be some states
Soda?
out in the Midwest.
I
that call
heard
them
that
pop,
some people
but
in
we call them-
America just refer to fizzy drinks collectively as Coke.
Yeah, we don't.
That's like
We don't
you
like
British
them.
people saying a vacuum's a Hoover.
Although
Yeah,
we
I
do
don't
pretty
really know
much
how
call-
that
Yeah.
actually came around.
What do you call them? Plasters? We pretty much just call them all Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Yeah, Band-Aid.
Band-Aid, give me a Band-Aid.
But we just call them plasters. But we have one word for them too.
Yeah, you have one, but it's like, it's not a...
It's not
There is
brand.
a company called
yeah.
Band-Aid. Like, that's the
Yeah.
problem.
We have that with cling wrap, the stuff you put over food to preserve it, the plastic.
Yeah, we call it. We just call that. Well, I've gotten into the habit of calling it Saran wrap now, but yeah, no, it was. There was a
It's just cling film here. I don't know if
What
that's
the
a
hell?
brand.
crap. I'm drawing a blank. It's probably because it's late, but I can't remember. But it's the same
Interdimensional
thing.
Galaxy Shark, what's your favorite soft drink?
I never even answered.
Yeah,
Not even-
Kathaar just
go
got
ahead.
skipped. Okay.
Kathaar's favourite
I
drink.
thought there was
is
an
Saran
answer in there somewhere.
Wrap. Kathaar's favourite drink is Saran wrap. There we go.
I love the drinks.
just
Saran wrap.
blended.
Yeah, go on,
Liver
go
with
on.
a nice
That
Saran
is
wrap.
how you live longer. Drink Saran wrap. Disclaimer,
I'll eat
that's
your
not how
liver
you
with
live
fava
longer, don't
beans
try
and
that
a
at
nice Saran wrap. How about that?
Oh dear. Sorry,
Anyway,
Kathaar.
favorite drink. Go.
Kathaar, what's your favourite bottle of pop or soda or Coke or whatever you want to call it?
It's Coke.
Oh.
Coke. I like Coke.
Just
That
just
was
normal
easy.
Coke or like Diet Coke or
Cherry Coke or
I-
vanilla
it's just
Coke.
normal
Or...
Coke. I'll always take a vanilla Coke or a cherry. But no, just Coke.
oh, fair enough.
I thought there was going to be a story to that because usually it's I like vanilla Coke. Hey, let me tell you why. One day on the grandest of adventures.
Yeah, no.
I
they
like
just-
Kathaar's
it's-
adventure
if I like-
stories.
Oh, so is that a thing now?
Yeah, every time we ask you a question, we get an answer, and then it's like, but here's why.
Oh,
Tangent.
Eddie, I've got
I'm
your
sorry.
clickbait
I don't have
thumbnail.
anybody to talk to. My country's still on lockdown like it was the first day of the pandemic, okay?
Eddie, here's how you clickbait this now. You've got to go. Kathaar likes Coke? Question mark.
So we've gone from Kathaar's feet in the last one being sunburned to Kathaar and Coke or Pepsi.
And then, so Kathaar is now secretly a hard drug addict.
He's on his treadmill trying to stay alive while having Coke.
Treadmill.
While also in the wilderness.
He's hooked up to his life support, man. Gotta run.
PvP everywhere, trying to throw like sticks at people and like try and knock them off.
Okay, right, Ollie, your favourite soft drink.
I don't know. I do love a good cherry Pepsi Max, but I haven't had it in a while.
Okay.
But also the red Fanta is really good, so I'll go with.
I think I prefer just the strawberry Fanta. That's really good.
What's
I
the
don't
max
think-
part of a Pepsi Max? What's the max?
So there's Diet Pepsi and Pepsi Max, and they're basically the same thing. But I originally thought it was just branding, that it's meant to be like, oh, Diet Pepsi's for women and Pepsi Max is the manly one. But apparently they do actually taste different.
It's caffeine. I think there's twice the caffeine in Max.
But it's basically
What?
like you've got
yeah.
like you've got Diet Coke and Coke Zero. It's just the same thing as that. But
Yeah.
because I think the whole branding is meant to be like zero sugar, maximum taste or something like that, and
Yeah.
that's the max.
Huh,
But yeah,
interesting.
Okay, and Jim?
Pepsi Blue.
Blue.
Pepsi. Yeah,
Is
it was
this
only out for like 6 months in 2002.
Pepsi Blue.
oh,
In 2002. Let's have a look at
Oh.
this. Pepsi Blue. Berry
Why?
flavoured. Ooh. It still exists in Indonesia, apparently, according to this YouTube video.
Boys, book a plane.
oh well, we're gonna have to wait a pretty. Few
Oh, wait,
months
this
for
was
that.
4 years ago. Maybe not anymore.
Oh, I remember this.
Cancel the booking.
It was
False
introduced
alarm.
August 2002, and it was discontinued May of 2004 in North America.
There you go. Because I remember specifically the first time I seen it. I think it was in a Britney Spears ad, and she was drinking it. I was like, oh, I should try some of that.
Oh shit!
Oh, we're old.
I hate you.
There it is. Pepsi Blue. Still
That's
get
the
it in
stuff.
Liverpool.
Right there.
Ah.
Look at a little rocks glass. Look at him trying to be fancy.
Yep, trip down memory lane for you.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look
Just
particularly
put it right
natural,
over
does it?
Jim's
But
face.
if it's like, what is it, like blueberry kind of?
You're
that
telling
sort
me
of
Coke looks
flavour?
natural?
No, but
Is this brown substance?
I mean, there's more.
uses a clean
Wait,
motor.
no, the sky is completely blue. I was about to say there's more natural brown things than blue,
Oh, I
but
don't want Coke anymore, to be honest.
It's like you're drinking diarrhea or something. Let's be
Oh,
honest. Like,
my
it's not the most appealing thing.
I'm gonna change my favourite drink now because I'm not going anywhere near Pepsi Max anymore. Now that you said that, red,
to
I'm
red
not going to be able
Fanta.
to look at
Okay.
it the same way
What's wrong with just normal Fanta? Why the red Fanta?
because
It's nicer.
It's way
fruit
better.
based
Yeah.
thing. Like
Did you hear there's a thing behind red Fanta and creaming soda in general where it makes kids more hyperactive if you give them that? The color red or something has to do with it?
The dye. I heard
yeah.
something about the dye in it.
well, it's like I don't know if it happened over in like America or anything, but like, do you have Smarties?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
Smarties.
There was a time where they banned blue Smarties
How dare they?
because
It must
the,
have been the
like
dye.
the coloring they used had too many of this thing that was like bad for kids or made them
It
like
was
too
one of the
hyperactive.
E numbers, wasn't it? I think?
Made out of lead.
So for like a good few years, there just weren't any blue Smarties.
Mhm.
That is terrible.
For 3 years,
What a crime
apparently.
against humanity.
See, it's right at the end of the podcast. Shit gets weird. If we stayed off topic the whole way through.
Start with our life support bikes.
Okay, so
I love
right. So what they did is they had to come up with an alternative because obviously the E number and color thing they were using was not great. So what they did is the color now comes from seaweed called spirulina.
I've heard of it.
I
What
hate seaweed.
Well, I can tell you Smarties don't taste of seaweed, so you're all right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they don't taste.
chalk. They don't taste
They
like
don't
chalk
taste
candy.
good either. Like really. Like if you're gonna get the choice between Smarties and M&Ms, I'm gonna go M&Ms all the time.
Ooh,
don't know.
no,
I think I'll go with
no.
I don't know about that
Not
one,
plain M&Ms, man. No. Crispy M&Ms, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
now,
Crispy.
Skittles, however,
The caramel M&Ms, yes.
I'll take those. I'll take the
Peanut
Skittles
ones,
over
they're
Smarties.
right. But definitely
Interesting.
Smarties over plain M&Ms. Yeah.
We're gonna have to do this on next podcast. You're gonna have to prepare some what if or which one would you rather.
A would you
Oh,
rather part, yeah.
I thought you were going to say we have to do a taste test, so we all have to have like M&M prepared. Instead of a podcast, it's just trying all the different M&M flavors and working out the best one.
See, that would be different as well because apparently different countries have different recipes, so it'd be tasted differently.
We could all swap. So like on the next, Kathaar sends something to Jim sends something to
Oh
me.
my god.
We have like yeah.
International.
I don't even know what I would send. We don't. America's not very unique. We
The
kinda-
No, you
only
just
American food I know is
conglomerize
Vegemite.
everything
Please
else.
don't send me Vegemite.
You want some Vegemite?
I do not want Vegemite.
You want some Vegemite?
I've had
Hey,
it once because
it's-
at RuneFest 2018, I was in the LAN hall and me and my mates did a drop party, and I went around and like told everyone come to the drop party, and then someone was like, "Hey, anyone want free Vegemite? Come to the last row." And they were just stood there with, like the tiny little packs of Vegemite you'd get in like a hotel.
Yeah.
They were there with like 50 of them, just handing them out to people. So I was like, first of all, why do you have these? And also, yeah, sure, I'll take when it's free. Biggest mistake of my life because that is horrendous stuff. That is.
It's slightly sweeter than Marmite, though.
I'm not a fan of either. I'm not a fan of either.
Funny
don't
enough, in
think-
my
I think
vlog I was working on just before this started, I was actually in the vlog eating Vegemite. Weird.
Oh no.
All right.
I gotta go.
I was gonna say, I feel like we've covered our favorite drink, so let's just say goodbye to everybody. And well, what have you guys got coming this week, this 2 weeks? Kathaar, I'll let you go first, so then you can fall asleep.
I've got nothing. Just released a new episode. I'll start working on another one here soon. But no, I've got nothing. Just stay tuned for more. Watch what I have already if you haven't. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. Ollie, Mr. Galaxy Shark, when are we expecting
so-
from you?
Well, wait. I've wanted to make videos on my own channel. I always have these really good ideas, and then I get to it, and I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I can't do it at the moment. So, if you want content, go and subscribe to Spider Mash, I guess, because that's the only me content you're actually getting.
You say that, but
anytime.
you just quit your job, right? You've got
Oh,
some
well,
freedom.
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Today is my last day at my job, so I have more time.
Congratulations.
Thanks, but as much as I can within the current world, like to actually just go out and do stuff instead of sitting behind my computer all day. But we'll see how that goes, because I probably will end up doing that. But I just have to tell myself that I won't, so I feel better about myself. And then
Well, we talked about it before that you could do lore in other games because it'll be cool to get your
Yeah.
take on it.
yeah, I could do.
And Jim, the start of a big journey is this week, correct?
Yep. So we've got the Iron Mate series. We've got episode 1 through 4 coming out, and then at the end of the week we have the big one that lots of people have been waiting for, is the Mad Max finally coming out. So yeah, it's about time. I know.
Is this where
that
you
one
strap
took a while.
yourself into the front of a massive car and drove through the desert with like a mask and stuff on, or is that the wrong Mad Max?
Oh yeah, that's the sequel. I actually filmed it in reverse. That's what happens after the series. The world goes to shit.
Yeah.
The
When-
wilderness
when-
does spread to everywhere, yeah.
When the wilderness comes everywhere and it becomes like that. Oh god.
There you go. That's it. That's the
Beautiful.
aftermath. The wilderness takes over.
Oh no, we we've gone full circle.
We've gone full circle, and that's a perfect time to end. So thank you guys for watching. I don't know how I'm going to host. I haven't even looked at this, but I hope you've enjoyed. If you've been watching on YouTube, obviously, if you've watched on YouTube, come and follow over on twitch.tv/RCC interviews, because then in the future you won't miss them, and you can come and suggest things in chat. Get lovely drinks made for you, as you saw. I
love
an
the set. It's great.
amazing drink person, and while the beach is still here, we will stay. I think.
If you're looking for hosts, Rubik is doing his.
Is he streaming it at the moment?
His Desperate Measures race to ready.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I think.
And before we do
URA,
that as
isn't it?
well,
Yes, of
can
course.
everyone who is watching now give Eddie some feedback on the episode? So what you think we can improve on for the next one as well?
Yes, despite this being a very unorganized mess, because it just is. That's just naturally the way this podcast is going to be. I think we're going
I
to
think
fly
that's
all around.
that's the hook. That's what brings people
Yeah.
to it, is because it's just chaos.
And
Yeah. All of your other videos are a lot more like, your interviews are very much, here's the question, what's this, and then the podcast is like the break from all that, where it all just turns to shit and it's like.
most definitely.
So
anyway-
Lucky Protox isn't here this week because he gets me going on those weird tangents. He will say something, I'm like, oh, but this, and then go off for 10 years.
And we still managed to go on some pretty interesting tangents this episode.
Not
So
as many though. We stayed on RuneScape for a lot longer.
we did. And anyway, until
Yes,
next time, everybody, I think we'll all say goodbye. And we'll go and say hi to
Yeah,
Rubik,
goodbye,
who is
everybody.
currently looking at the needle. So let's go see what he's up
Keep
to.
on riding. Don't give up.
Keep on peddling.
Yep.